No hangout music. What up, people? See what's going on and let some people get in here before we start. Check on a few of you, make sure you guys are the real ones.
Yeah, right. What's up to the chat? How's everybody doing?
Oh, there he is. Bill Hicks Jr. I don't even understand why he comes into these things. He comes in to get kicked out. I think
I was,
he likes getting kicked out more than he likes anything, to tell you the truth.
he, he must like that booting his ass or something. I don't know. Poor.
Yeah, my bad. See, like all that drama shit that fucking man, I don't even want to talk about it. But yeah, so I'm pretty sure most of you guys saw the little preview video that I uploaded a little bit earlier today. Did a lot of research last night and found out, where for months and months and months the government's been talking about nuclear wars and uh, North Korea trying to make nuclear weapons, when in reality, find out that it's actually worse than we thought, and also at the same time, they've been bullshitting the whole time as well. Kind of give you guys a little rundown of what I got before we start. Basically, since 2010, they've been trying to get ready, I will say, for an EMP attack. North Korea has actually threatened us with EMP attacks way before they ever threatened us with nuclear attacks. Was it yeah, so 2013, Congress started trying to amp up ways to get the federal government to step up. They have something called the SHIELD Act, and
Gotham
also
Shield.
yeah, it's also called the GRID Act. There's another one called the GRID Act. Basically, it's Congress, our state representatives' way of forcing the federal government to step up on how our grid is set up. Our basically all our connections of technology, internet, electricity, you name it. They've been trying to get it to step up. Our grid is pretty damn shitty. So what they're trying to do is to try to get them to add in 1,000 more transistors, just everything you can think of. As of last year, for 3 years, they were waiting for the federal government to accept the bill, and it wasn't until August of last year that they actually signed it and agreed to it. Federal government speaking. As to whether or not they're actually doing it, who knows? I couldn't find anything on it, but I definitely do know for a fact that what's up,
Oh
Jamaican?
shit, we live.
Yeah, we live.
Okay, what's good?
So
I'm coming my camera off. I just had it on so y'all know it was me.
All right, no worries.
No doubt.
So basically, where we stand as of right now, the federal government has finally signed these two acts. They've agreed to half of what needs to be done. As to when it starts, I have no idea. But we're going to go into basically what an EMP is and what we have to worry about, really. I didn't know as much as I did, beginning of the night before I started this research. But yeah, it's actually not good. It's pretty bad. I don't want to throw fear in anybody, because guess what? Whether we know about it or not, if it happens, it's gonna happen.
Oh boy.
There are a few ways that there are ways that it can be prevented. As to the time it would take is the funny, wonderful question that I don't know. Yeah, I can do that Flat Trotter. Give me 1 second. We're not in any hurry to start this yet, but I just wanted to give everyone a rough draft of what was going on. Let me go to this chat real quick.
You want to give them a rough down?
The rough down, yeah.
That
What's
sounds,
up, Candy Boo?
Risky.
Oh my God, y'all, that was so awesome. What
Hello.
just happened?
Okay, what's up? Just let you know we're live now.
Okay, yeah, I wasn't gonna bring up that other stuff, but I saw the live thing on the corner. I always check first.
What's up, Adam? Flatlander. Hey, Bunny, what's up? Thanks for coming.
So y'all,
Trotter, let me get through this, and I'll send that invite out to you real quick.
the reason I jumped off, I was checking out at Walmart, and I just seen so many people, y'all. And guess what? Right as I was some people were looking at me like I was crazy, but I don't care. But then somebody walked up behind me, and she's like, "Yep, I researched it from last time you were here. The Earth is definitely flat. Y'all listen to her."
That's awesome.
Oh, damn. How did I get Flat Trotter in here last time?
So what happened towards the end of Dre's show today? I had to leave, couldn't finish the show.
Well, your boy came back up in there with that.
Wait, second time?
What? Yeah, he came back again because we was kind of roasting him, about his pimply face.
We was having too much fun.
Taylor?
I was on my way out the door, and I seen him, and I seen that he was joining. Cause when I got off the call, I said had the show going as I was getting dressed to leave, and then I seen him jump back on the panel. So I had to stop what I was doing just to roast him in person.
Yeah, it was funny though, because then toward the end, he was like, "All right, well, I got to get out of here or whatever right now." And he was trying to make it like, he's really not that bad of a guy. He just kind of like gets a certain way for whatever reason. He tried to kind of like smooth it over, and then Vegan was like, he was like, "Oh no, man," he's like, he's like, "I still don't like you," or something like that. He said he pulled his coattail. It was funny though, but yeah, man, that dude is P Mars.
Oh.
He's talking about I'm a boss, but get out your mama's basement if you're such a goddamn boss, dude.
He just wanted to come up in there and call us niggas. That's all he wanted to do. Yeah, I mean,
yeah,
nothing more, nothing less.
He wakes up and eats his Wheaties just so he can do that.
But I gotta get my energy cause these niggas are so strong and powerful in their mind. I'm gonna have to crack their mind quickly.
What's up, Bunny?
Everybody?
How you doing?
What's up, Randy?
Yeah, how's everybody doing in the chat? Nice.
Oh, so let me check the chat out real quick.
Yeah, it's a lot of niggas out there. Let me stop.
Let me do a roll call.
Want to jump on the panel, or you just listening in right now? What's up, McVice? How you doing, sir?
McVice.
Let me see. Let me do a roll call real quick.
He said, "Don't fall asleep."
Flat Trotter, thanks for coming. Let me see.
You can't say
Bill Hicks.
You can't say everyone's name. You can't say everyone's name twice because I just did that.
Okay. Well, Bill Hicks is
late, man.
Bill Hicks is blocked. Did you get Lisa White?
Yeah, at least Bill Hicks had a nice little 5-minute run though.
Yeah, it did.
He was chilling.
I think that's gonna be all right. Make sure you guys hit that like button.
I
definitely appreciate it if you share that as well. And then we'll jump into this head first. This is going to be a little bit different than my normal streams because to explain this, I kind of want to give you guys visuals because I don't know enough about it to sound exactly like I know exactly what the fuck I'm talking about.
As long as they're not like last time you showed visuals.
Yeah.
Okay, like I said,
no snakes.
I won't be doing that now, but
snakes on the plane.
I can't guarantee anything for the end.
Next time.
We'll see.
So,
right.
I think I about trying to slick roast somebody.
Oh Lord, no.
Right,
what up, Bonnie? I see you. She just shot me out.
Going. All right, so everyone is in here. What's up, Linda? How you doing, sir?
What's going on, man?
You all
What's y'all's weather like?
Chilling.
I want to know where y'all at.
Temperature. I wanted to say something real quick. So yesterday when I went live, and I tried to tell everyone about this dot on the moon that I saw. I'm not crazy. I found a picture. I showed people, so they know it's not. I'm not lying. I just don't know what it is yet.
Yeah, I had Karen send it to Crow 777.
Yeah, it's. I definitely want to find out what it is though, because it's a trip. I'll show the picture a little bit.
I'm intrigued. It's like it could have been a simulator or something. I'm intrigued to see what you found.
Yeah, it's like.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Because it's not.
I'll kind of go over what I was seeing again.
Shadow, but I just don't know.
Yeah, I saw that picture. To me, it almost seems like it's above the surface, if you will. You know what I'm saying? It almost looks like it's casting a shadow.
Like it would be a shadow. Yeah, that's what I said too.
Yeah. See, that's the crazy part, because when I looked at it, so that picture I showed you guys, that was at night. So it was during the day moon. That's when I saw it, and that spot looked more defined. Like it was just crazy looking.
Oh wow!
So then I wake up today to get up and take some pictures, and it's cloudy all day. All day long. No moon for me.
See, now around here this morning it was pretty sunny. Had a little bit of like a couple clouds, the beginnings of a whole bunch of chemtrails, and then all of a sudden, like since about 10 o'clock this morning, it's been cold and raining.
Really, it was really cold here. Like, I'm not cold. It was really raining. Yeah, whatever. It was raining really hard earlier today. But it is hot now. Like, that's why I asked, because it's November, and I'm in North Carolina, so the weather's, it's not really cold here, but usually it starts like last October on Halloween, it was so cold. And I remember because I dressed up last year and I had on like this stupid strawberry dress. I was like a strawberry patch thing. It was, I don't know, so it was with the kids, but I was freezing. And this year, it's like, it is hot right now. And it's, 6:30 at night. It's just weird.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Give me one more second.
Okay. I always remember it being pretty cold on Halloween, especially coming up.
Yeah. Well, I grew up in Connecticut, so always cold there.
I know that was cold.
All right.
Yeah, we would be throwing like frozen bonkers. If you don't remember those candies, when it's cold out, you can't eat them because they're like now-laters. They'll break your teeth.
Yeah.
So we would take them out of the bag, trick or treat. You know, we was a bunch of little badass kids or whatever. We would take them out and just start throwing them. It's like hitting somebody with a rock. Some things is hard than them.
Yo, I used to love those. And you could only get them during Halloween. The sixlets. And I had some of them the other day. I was like, yeah.
Chiclets?
No, sixlets. They're like the little balls they're kind of like M&Ms, but they're in like this long strip, and they're like
ball. Yeah, I know. I know what you're talking about. Yeah, I know what you're talking about. Oh yeah, they're disgusting.
They're so nasty. Ugh.
Yeah, they are. Yeah, I know exactly what you're talking about. Ugh.
All right, I'm ready to go. All right, so here's what we're gonna do. I'm gonna go ahead and share my screen. Talk over some of the points, and there'll be some visuals so you guys can kind of better understand what an EMP is. Panel in the chat, I will try to keep my eye on it, but you guys are more than willing to ask questions because it is can get kind of confusing at first, or at least it was for me. Here we go. Which one do I want? All right. So what you guys are going to see basically is just going to be mainly pictures. So what I'm saying, you can have a better idea of. So I didn't want to bore you with all the words of everything. So basically, we're going to be talking about these EMPs. I think it's important that we break down what we're looking at or what we're talking about. As in, for the EMPs, we all basically know what a basic EMP is. It's a pulse surge of whatever type of EMP is. Like, as you will know, there are different types that shuts down the mother brain of any electricity. It basically can take down anything from a watch with a small battery in it up to our grid, your electrical system, everything.
Mm-hmm.
The main worry about everything, the main worry that we should be worried about is where the fuck is it? Altitude electromagnetic pulses. The majority of what everyone knows is, here, let me get to it real quick so you guys see. So these are the kind of the basics of what we know as EMPs, or the majority of people know about EMPs. You can put them you can make an EMP out of a phone, make them out of cameras, you can make them out of just regular household construction things, switches. The picture you guys see on the bottom is how is how that
this is like Mission Impossible type shit. How they be doing in the movies, using little remote controls and little batteries and shit to take down a whole
normal kind. That's what you would think of as an EMP, as in just a regular everyday one. The problem with those are they typically only have a short radius. The biggest one you could probably carry, which is probably suitcase size, is about a mile. Anything bigger than that, you're talking, in a truck, basically. And those ones are pretty hard to build, because no matter what you use, you have to use a power source for that. And depending on
even with a mouse, sometimes a mouse can still do a whole lot of damage if it's something important that's your target.
But a mile isn't gonna
the aerial burst. It's the aerial burst. That's where the danger is.
Yeah. So basically, what we're worried about is a high altitude electromagnetic pulse. When they were talking nukes, it's harder to do a nuke because you have to have a nuclear warhead, which is a lot bigger than a typical missile. The reason they were saying EMPs and telling us EMP was basically because any nuclear charge sets off an EMP.
Right.
But like I said, it would cost a lot more. You need a bigger warhead, a bigger missile to hit anything nuclear here. So whatever they're going to use, it's going to be a non-nuclear electrical pulse, which is basically the missile, which is the way it gets here. And the warhead would, instead of being nuclear, it'd be EMP. It'd be an EMP tipped, which doesn't land, so it doesn't detonate as it hits the ground. What they would want to do is they want this thing to hit. Typically, from what I was reading, it's not even in our atmosphere. It's just above the ionosphere.
That's funny. I kind of called this out about a year ago. I said if there really is some type of force field type firmament up there, whatever there was to shoot some type of EMP into it, and then make that. Y'all seen what was that, Angels and Demons, the sequel to the Da Vinci Code? How at the end when they created that, it was like man-made created matter or something, and it was sought to destroy it, and then dude flew the helicopter way up in the air as high as it could, and when they exploded, the impact from the blast still came down and pretty much still did some damage to everything that was underneath. That was You know what I'm saying?
But see, that's the thing. EMPs, this is nothing like that.
Yeah.
So basically, what happens is
no explosion.
Yeah, there's no explosion. There's no heat waves. It's nothing like that. All it does is send out a huge signal to everything electronic, and it kills the motherboards of everything.
Electrical pulse fries.
Oh, like a surge.
Fries the circuitry.
Yes. So basically,
okay.
At if this thing detonated at say detonated at
100,000 feet.
Well, we're just going to start. Oh, it goes a lot bigger than that. So we're going to start at where am I at? I got to find the right one so I can give you guys the right numbers. You guys don't see it, but I'm scrolling through a whole different one right now. Okay, so at if it burst at 30 miles up.
Oh wow.
The radius will be 480 square miles that it will affect. And the picture that you guys can see now, that's basically the middle of the United States.
And that's at about 30 miles.
So it wouldn't take
it's at 30 miles up.
So 30 miles up is what, about 80,000 feet? Somewhere around there? 90,000 feet?
It's about 90,000, yeah. So at 120 miles, the blast radius is 1,880 miles, which is basically 90% of the United States, parts of Canada, and parts of Mexico.
Yeah, I know one thing, that it takes from North Carolina, where I live, to the middle of Washington State. That's 2,700 miles. So that's half of the United States right there.
And then at 300 miles up, the blast radius becomes 1,470, which intakes the whole United States, Mexico, and I would say 95% of Canada. This is the one that they're worried about. This is the one that's actually the easiest to do, and it takes less of the pulse. So say you ground detonated it, you would probably need within the range of 10,000 times the power source from the ground than you would need from 300 miles up to get the same radius.
Now, I seen this picture that you posted in the back chat this morning. I was trying to study the, I guess the circle, that's a blast radius of how far it would travel. Like the outer circle, is that the farthest the blast radius would travel?
That's the farthest at 300 miles.
It's not a blast radius. That's what. Just remember, there's no explosion.
I'm sorry. It's an electrical pulse.
Right, and that pulse that's just showing you the diameter that it'll radiate out to. So there's no flames, there's no explosion, there's no fire, none of that stuff. It's just literally an electromagnetic pulse that gets sent out, and it fries the circuitry, particularly the motherboards of all electronics, unless it's protected in some sort of a Faraday cage. That's the only way you can
so let me go ahead and I'll explain basically the pulses. It'll make more sense in a second. So typically, any EMP, basically everything can be an EMP. It's the source of the EMP. So for instance, right now, what you guys are looking at is what is called a rectangular or square pulse. This is very typical. Your phones, your watches, your alarm clocks have it. When your alarm clock goes off and it has that beep and that surge, between every beep, that is a rectangular or square pulse. That is a form of EMP. Kind of why, if your alarm goes off and it's playing music, and the alarm is in the background of it, the music will kind of shed off. You won't hear it so well. That's basically the EMP, quote unquote, side of it. This is as normal as it gets. The pulses are rated by the the amplitude of it, and the time in it. The second one, which is typically in an EMP that we're speaking of now, usually you can get a lot more amplitude out of these ones. What is this one? Damn it. See, I hate this part. This is the hang on. I cut my screen off. All right. Message me, but you ain't getting answered right now. Okay, so here we go. Damn little picture. All right, here we go. Finally. So this is this one right here is basically a pulse wave double helix. So basically what happens is you'll get the most amplified out of this type of EMP. So typically at the top of this range is when the most damage is going to happen. Like I said, you don't feel it. It's not gonna. You won't hear it. You won't see it. All of a sudden, just everything shuts off. The third one is basically so when they set up, this is the one they're going to use because what they're going to want is they're going to want a lot of aperture out of it, but they're going to want it to last. So what happens is it sends it out in a signals high strength, low strength is the best way to explain it. It's going to be the first, I think these ones will last at 30 seconds per. And just so you understand how many amps it would really take, at the middle amperage right here, right in the middle, that's more than enough to take out half the United States' grid. Then now we will go to the fun part of types of EMPs, because this is the part that tripped me out. So basically, there's 4 types of EMPs that we see amongst every day. The first EMP is the lightning electromagnetic pulse. It's basically a discharge. You feel this when you rub your feet on the carpet, touch something, as you see. It's also the same as a electrostatic. It's the exact same thing. Difference is most of the time the lightning one obviously it's gonna be a lot more amperage behind it, but that's the same reason if your house gets hit by lightning, all your power kind of surges for a little bit. Then there's meteoritic EMPs. These are the ones where meteors. I know. I know you guys don't have to say it. When meteors do hit, they do set off an EMP strike as they are crossing.
How many times does that happen?
I'm sorry. Actually, quite a few times. It's still not enough to take out a grid. If the EMP doesn't have enough power or source behind it, or time behind it, it only hiccups electricity. The coronal mass injection, which is basically solar flares. Our Van Allen belts is basically is our Faraday box, basically.
Those solar flares there, that's all fake. That's not even real.
See, here's the thing. Regardless of whether or not the sun was 93 million miles away or it's 3,000 miles away and nowhere near that size, if it's radiating heat and it is a source like it says it is, it's gonna have solar flares. When you light a lighter and it flickers, that's a minuscule version of a solar flare.
When the lighter flame flickers?
Yes.
I don't think so, because that's actually what you're saying in a solar flare is a coronal mass ejection. That means that part of that sun is being ejected.
Yes, and when you light your lighter, when you light your lighter and it does that little flicker thing, not the striking of it. So if you hold your lighter and you watch your flame, it kind of does like this little thing, like
and you can hear it. Yeah, it goes.
Yeah, that's the gases release. Yeah, that's the gases releasing from the lighter. That's basically what a solar flare does.
Oh, I thought you were talking about
the sun is made of that big ball of gas.
But yeah. I mean, I agree.
The sun is more of electromagnetic energy.
Yes, this is why solar flares do not exist. This is just something that they tell you as a part of like fear porn type.
So what are you saying that? Why do you say that? Hang on. I can't have everybody saying the same thing. So say what you said again about the solar flare.
The solar flare, there is no flame. The sun is not something that burns as it's depicted in that picture. Yes, there are electromagnetic properties and things of this nature, but what they're showing you and calling the solar flare, that's just not the case. It's an electromagnetic energy. It's not
Agreed.
It's not a flame like we know a flame to be, or a flame calls from whether it's any other kind of.
Well, this is I don't know. I see exactly what you're saying. Yeah, this is basically a visual aid of a solar
CGI.
Flare. Yeah, I don't think
obviously.
But when
someone says, for instance, if I say I'm talking about these EMPs, the same way that Titan thought it was still something that blasted, exploded, they have to give you a visual of something that's not visual.
Right, but
EMP isn't a visual. Isn't a visual occurrence.
Right, because it's electromagnetic. You can't see it, but this is where they're pulling your leg with this, supposedly the sun being a big ball of flame that has a CME that.
Okay, but see, that's the same thing. What you're saying is that it doesn't give off solar flares because of what you're seeing right now. This is the same thing as that ring that I just showed you. It's just a visual aid. When they say solar flares, no.
I get what you're saying, but what I'm saying is that whole concept of that sun being a burning ball that in turn has a coronal mass ejection is just hot doo-doo. That's not it.
I was thinking the other day.
What would you expect a solar flare to be then?
That CME, it has to be like, in my opinion, it has to be them attacking us in some way, and they have to blame it on something.
See, I personally,
that's the thing. When there's solar flares, we don't get the effects of a solar flare.
I'm not necessarily I'm not necessarily too sold on the idea that a solar flare is real. This might be something that they've come up with as a result of some kind of tinkering or experimentation they were doing, and it produced some sort of electromagnetic result, and they just happen to call it a solar flare so that whenever they do it, they can blame it on a CME from the sun.
Okay, but here's the thing. If you use a solar filter on a camera or a telescope, you can see these spots. You can see the solar flare happen. You can literally see this dark spot on the sun, and you can see it flare out. Not like this.
Well, no,
you see it happen. It's not something that's not observable.
Right. No. I mean, I'm aware of sunspots, and I do know that they're a real thing. But as far as these so-called CMEs, I just don't think so. I just think that that's another one of those things that they're tossing you some non-existent bone.
But the problem is you just described one, and then at the same time said it was fake.
So you're saying that a sunspot and a CME is the same thing? I don't think so.
Absolutely.
I don't know. You might want to look into that.
I actually have. That's the reason I'm saying it, because what happens is it happens, and I'm not sure if you're assuming that it's supposed to affect us, but it doesn't. This is also the basis of why I don't feel like the. Say again.
Ain't a CME, a coronal mass ejection, is that flare that you see in your screen share. bursting off of the sun, which is a burst of nitrogen, whatever the sun is made of. But that's not, that's not what the sun is actually made of. So that
what would the sun be made of?
It's an electromagnetic energy. It's not that big ball of burning flames like they say it is.
Okay, then what is it?
So that whole paradigm of what we're looking at is something that's created from somebody's mind.
So then what is a solar flare? Because we can see this happening. It is detectable.
Okay, all right.
What technology are they using to look at the sun to see that happen?
Any electric magnetic pulse tester, anything that when you your SDG&E, or I'm sorry, we have SDG&E. Any of your electric guys that do for your houses, and you can rate how much electricity is coming through a socket and everything. Well, it's the exact same thing. So
basically a voltmeter, but whatever. It's probably using more of a light to analyze it. But do you have any photos of flares or CMEs?
No, I can pull them up. I didn't think I was going to have to, but I can.
Well, just because
definitely find it. Like I said, this was just a visual aid. I understand. It's not big.
I didn't think we were going to
look at that. That looks like a lava popping off the sun, and I know that's not true. But just like you can detect an EMP, you can measure EMPs. It's the same thing with a CMP. And then this doesn't make sense that it doesn't happen, because we can see it happening. So basically, if you put a solar flare or solar filter on your camera or telescope, at the time that they say this is going to happen, you can literally watch it happen. You can rate it. You can, as soon as you see it happen off the sun, and if you had something that measures it at a certain point in time, you would eventually get a spike. Now, it's not by the time it gets to us, it's not enough. It's not big enough to affect anything, but it's still measurable.
Who's detecting these discharges?
I can look into it, and I'll give you that information later.
Well, I mean, I'm just kind of asking because if the discharge detections are coming from people like NASA, you can kind of already see where that's going.
I don't know. I'll look into how much that the instruments to do that is, but I know it's not just a NASA thing. I mean, anybody could do it.
Well, what I'm saying is, I guess, just to kind of clarify, if what they coined to be a solar flare or whatever is the result of some type of experimentation or whatever, something that they might be doing, and they know it's going to be present at a certain time. Of course, they can tell people, and then they could visualize it with their special filters. I just can't. I mean, don't get me wrong. At one point in time, I did buy into the idea of like a solar flare causing like an EMP, but it wouldn't burn us up because the magnetic field would shield it and, circle it around to the poles. Like that whole thing, I kind of believed in that, but I just can't buy that anymore.
Here's the problem. The same effect so the Van Allen belts you feel isn't real because they say it wraps around the North to the South Pole, right?
Wait, say that again?
Saying that you don't believe that the Van Allen belt's real, which is what protects us from these solar flares, because the way depicted is in North and South.
Well, I don't agree with that. No, I definitely believe that the Van Allen belts exist, and on some level, those Van Allen belts, or what we call the Van Allen belts, are probably also the dome in some aspect, one way or another. So, I mean, I definitely believe in the Van Allen belt. I just don't believe the fact that the sun is 93 million miles away, that has coronal mass ejections that pretty much pepper the galaxy with, highly charged electromagnetism that's then in turn funneled around our Van Allen belts around the sphere and enter at the poles, which cause the aurora borealis. I think that's hot garbage.
It is.
Okay, but here's the problem. We have the aurora borealis. We have them. We don't need a typical spear north. We know that. It's our center. It has its own South Pole.
The aurora borealis doesn't come from outer space. If anything, it comes from the Earth's interior, or somehow.
But that does not change the fact that the North Pole makes its own South Pole, which it would still give us a belt. Still make that belt look exactly the way it is right now. It doesn't need to be a ball to make that belt the way it is.
Well, perhaps in a torus field type situation, but then the flat plane would be within that torus field. So yeah, I can agree with that categorically.
Okay, well, yeah. Who's to say how high up you have to go before you hit your instruments start going haywire? Because that's what would happen basically if you entered into the magnetic field.
Well, the only thing, like I said, the only thing that I'm really disputing, I guess, if you will, is that the sun puts out a CME that in turn causes a EMP. I just don't think. I don't think that the sun. I don't think that the sun is. I don't want to say capable, but I don't think that the sun was designed to do that. That's not a part of the sun's natural existence. Putting out because the sun is something that came from the creator. The creator didn't put anything in this realm that's meant to harm us. Obviously, people.
That's ridiculous. You can't say that because
that's not ridiculous.
So you're telling me that we don't have volcanoes? Volcanoes aren't real. Hurricanes, tornadoes aren't real. Those are all things that your creator put here and kill people every year.
But I think I agree with what he's saying. What he's saying, though, that's a natural disaster. That's, you can be in harm's way, but I don't think that something that we walk outside in every single day, every single human being on this planet.
Right, exactly. It's the scale. It's the scale in this instance. The scale in this instance is when you deal with the storm and things of this nature. This is a part of the natural cycle. Some storms can be considered to be the cleaners. They clean up the land. They wash away things with the rains, winds, whatever the case may be. But with the sun,
let me get this straight. So what you're telling me is because the sun's there every day, that it's different from being natural as a tornado or hurricane.
Natural in the sense that it's not there. It's not there in the aspect that it's capable of producing a coronal mass ejection as we're taught traditionally. No,
I just think it's different.
Here's the problem with that. You're saying that you don't think that it's able to do it, but why isn't it able to do it? What is the sun made out of that it's not able to do this?
Because it's an electromagnetic energy, and from what most people can kind of tell, or at least from the information I've been aware of, it's more of a projection. If anything, it's not a physical object that's capable of putting out some sort of ejection. The information that this CME is based on the fact that it's supposedly 93 million miles away. The sun is obviously not 93 million miles away.
That's the thing. It's not based on it. It's not. It's based on what it's made of, not the distance that.
Listen, for instance, I'm gonna tell you right now, that picture that you're showing with that coronal mass ejection right there, that coronal mass ejection can probably fit like 4 or 5 Earths within it.
Okay, but we've already established that's not a real picture.
Okay, no, but what I'm getting at is now just imagine the sun.
You can't use that picture as it.
No, yes, I can, because listen, this is showing the so-called size of the Earth when it's 93 million miles away, and from what they tell us, that coronal mass ejection that's being shown would be capable of holding 3 Earths in their entirety as a sphere. Okay. Now,
but here's the problem.
I'm getting at
it doesn't change. Okay, so it being not 93 million miles away has nothing to do with the CME at all. You're saying that it's 90. The only way it could work is it being 93 million miles away. And that's the only time. That's the only way it could happen.
No, I'm not saying that at all. Basically, what I'm saying is I think the idea of a coronal mass ejection is just pure garbage.
Okay, so then EMPs
it's
are
not
pure garbage.
No, EMP is a real thing.
So basically, when a nuclear bomb is detonated, it does a CME. The only difference is is that the heat is different. It's a different size of pulse, and it's a man-made pulse. But it's but a nuclear bomb, when it does detonate, it does the same. The pulse that comes from a nuclear bomb is the same pulse that comes from a sun.
Okay, but the sun is not nuclear. The sun is not nuclear. So where's this EMP?
But the atoms in it is the same reason it flares. Like, okay, so what could
Sean.
you say? No, because what you're saying doesn't make sense. So what is the sun made out of then?
Electromagnetism.
Okay, so then what?
Focused electromagnetism.
So what do you mean focused?
Meaning that there could perhaps be a larger source that light that we see is coming from that may be much larger, and that's just the focus. Like, for instance, if you take and you shine light through a Fresnel lens, or if you use a typical magnifying glass for that matter, how you can take the sun and you can focus it down to a tiny point and actually cause fires with it. You know what I'm saying? So to me, that sun is no different, whether that initial beam of light, if you will, is coming through the dome somehow, or whether it's within or completely outside of the dome. The light that we see and receive on a daily basis, to me, is more of a projection of concentrated light.
Yeah, it's non-physical, definitely.
You can't even triangulate the sun. It's just kind of like the moon. You can never be under the moon. You can never see the surface features. Not that the sun has any, but with the moon in particular, you can't see any of the surface features of the bottom right of the sphere when you move into that region of the world. You don't see any differences in the features, not even slightly. So like I said before, to me, this is a result of things that are a projection. Just like, I've used this analogy before. When you look at your flat screen television on the wall, it looks like a world that you can walk into. You can drive. It's got mountains. It's got water, textures, colors, and everything else. It looks completely real, but you go touch that screen, it's as flat as can be.
Yeah, but it's also a 2D. So it's flat. It's not
okay. So there's a lot of evidence that suggests that the sun and the moon are 2D. Like, for instance,
at the same. Okay, then here's the problem, because I personally don't feel that these things are projections. I guess to me, the sun is a ball of gas.
I'd have to disagree with that wholeheartedly.
Okay, here's the problem with that though. If you put a solar filter on a camera or a telescope, you can see these things happening. You can measure these things happening.
That could just be energy emitting from the sun and not necessarily flares.
No. Okay, that's exactly what it is. You just said it. Energy emitting from the sun. That is a CME. That's exactly what it is.
But it's not a flare like a gaseous flare.
No. A CME is literally what it implies. A coronal mass ejection, meaning that some mass is being ejected from the corona of the sun. Right. That's what a CME is. You don't get that type and I understand your comparison with the lighter, but the lighter is designed to push that gas out. So when it flickers, that's just an indication that perhaps the fuel source is running low, or maybe there's a little something mixed up in the nozzle. So that flicker is not the same thing as a CME.
Okay. So it can't be projection. It can't be a projection if it does any of these things that you're saying it does. Only if it's what I say it does, because I think it's physically there. I don't think it's a projection. How can it be a projection yet still be measured? Because if you go to the drive-in, you're not going to be able to read the energy coming off that projection.
I have a question though. Okay, so I saw the sun when it was during the eclipse, okay? And I saw it, I think I told you about this the other day, Sean. Like, when I saw the eclipse, it was about 70, I saw totality, but when it was about 75% occulted, I looked up at it and I saw, like, torus fields and hyperboloid, the whole color spectrum. So, obviously, like we already know, it's not what they tell us it is. It's not a ball of fiery gas. It's not, I don't know what it is. Obviously, I'm not going to ever say that I think that I know.
If you use a solar flare, you see that it is. Otherwise, it's just like a fake fireplace.
I don't know though.
You put it on your TV.
It just seemed like it was just a big energy field.
Well, there's a lot of energy there, that's for sure. But
like
to be an energy field, to be a project, anything. If you're saying projection, then
I don't think I would not say that.
It can't be a gas. It can't be. It can't send a energy source that you can be measured. Like it can either be either or. When we see a solar flare happen off the sun, we are able to measure it. If it's a projection, what are we measuring then?
Yeah, well, I don't think it's a projection. I mean, it's not that I don't think it isn't. I don't know what it is, but what I saw with my own eyes is definitely, I saw the full color spectrum of torus fields in what looked like hyperboloids around the sun, and that can't happen if it is what they say it is. So obviously, I don't think any of us.
But why though?
Why?
Like,
look at
the problem. The issue that I'm having is that it doesn't work because it does. So I need a reason why it doesn't.
But okay, you say so. I'm sorry. I was kind of in and out bringing in the groceries, so I really didn't hear everything that was said. So did you say that you saw this happening with your own eyes?
Yeah, I've seen a flare. I've been able to see the spot and flare, and I haven't had the gauge to measure the poles, but you can look at the sun, you can see these spots, you can see where it's going to happen. When they say it happens, I mean, there are tons of videos of everyday people, not NASA, measuring these things. So, because by the time it gets to us, it's so small that it doesn't affect us like that. Now, if it was any closer and we got the full spectrum of it, it would basically kill us all. But that's also what the belt's for.
Yeah, solar flares and sunspots ain't the same thing, because that implies
that's what it emanates from. That's how you know where it happens from.
Right. That's where they say that the solar flare comes from, but the solar flare itself and the solar or the sunspot are two different things. So what I'm saying is,
what you're saying is
you've seen
the after effect of one is no, because when you see one, it's already happened. And it hasn't even
what do you mean it's already happened? A sunspot, you can have sunspots that literally stay there for months and months on months and months on end and never produce one solar flare.
No. If you see a sunspot, it's already produced a solar flare.
No.
Yes.
I don't. That's not how it works. The sunspot is capable of producing the solar flare, but just because sunspots are present doesn't mean that the solar flare is happening.
Okay, here's the problem. Do you know a sunspot is the same thing as when you cut yourself and a scab grows over it. The sunspot is that scab. It's already happened.
Well, don't they describe it as a cooler spot? It's a cool spot in the sun.
Yes, because it's already happened. It's not that it's already gone out and it's repatched itself and it's not as hot as everything else around it. It's when you see a solar patch, it's the solar flare has been gone. It's probably already even hit the belt and already isn't anything anymore.
I don't buy that. I don't buy that.
I'm sorry, but it's the thing is remember, we observe a flat plane. We observe the same thing with a solar flare. It's not made up.
No, it actually is made up because
basically what you're saying is if you light a lighter, you put your hand over it, it's hot, right? What you're saying is because it's, I guess, a projection or it doesn't emanate these flares that they can make a lighter that lights but isn't hot at all. What? Basically, the reason a lighter does that flicker thing is because it's exertive gas. So all gases at some point can find a way to do this. So how is the sun not doing it?
Okay, so how does that gas create a torus field?
I don't know. I can't explain a torus field for you. I'm sorry, but I can tell you exactly how the sun works. I can tell you that what we observe is as a solar flare is measurable and we can see where it's happened from. So I don't understand what we see and what we measure then.
So a flare
think about it
really
just
a
real
magnetic
quick.
pulse is what you're saying?
Exactly. Now think about it.
Say it again?
What are
A flare is a magnetic pulse. It's not actually a flare of heat and energy. It's a magnetic pulse.
That's not true.
Exactly.
What a traditional solar flare is basically an ejection of flames and whatever else highly charged particles that get ejected from the sun and produce the
That's
EMP.
what we're taught, right? That's the lie we're taught, right?
An EMP is electronical. It sends out a frequency.
Now, okay, now listen, stop right there.
It comes from heat. It comes from a source, a gas source.
No, that's where you're going wrong with the gas. An EMP, think about it. An EMP is an electrical discharge. Why wouldn't it come from something that's electrical in nature, like the sun, as we believe it, as opposed to a ball of gas that expends this gas fuel and then in turn turns that into an electrical magnetic pulse?
Okay, but listen. So a nuclear bomb, is that a gas? Is that a fire? Is that intense heat, or is that an electrical?
That is the collision of atoms. That is not your. That is not the typical form of combustion.
But it's coming from a gas. It's coming. They're gases. Atoms aren't electrical.
Atoms are gas?
Well, yes, exactly. Yes, it is. The way it.
So electrons and protons and all these things are gas. Is that what you're?
So how does a nuclear? Okay, explain to me how a nuclear weapon goes off. It's electrical now?
Well, I don't know the exact mechanisms that cause the explosion. But
here's the thing. Okay, but that's the thing. So when we see an atom bomb and a nuclear bomb go off, we see this big explosion.
Right.
Intense heat and percussion of that sends out an EMP. Now the sun, which is much hotter, much bigger.
It's just a shockwave. What it was. A M80 can give you a shockwave of energy also.
Okay, you're right. So, a clock gives you an MP too. But we're not talking about a
38 caliber weapon
taking out the world.
But what I'm saying is, like, we tend to use, I guess, what they call Occam's razor, and we're supposed to use the most simplest explanation. I guess explanation to reach the ultimate answer or whatever the case may be. And to me, it makes a million times more sense that the sun be an electrical device, if you will, and the EMPs, if they're actually produced by the sun, that it was more likely to come from an electronic device before it comes from something that's supposedly a self-contained nuclear reaction.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying?
What happens? See, that's the thing, though. You're making it so. What you're saying is that the sun is not a gas, right? So what is it?
Electromagnetism.
Because you also know that, like, light bulbs, it's like there's a gas that does all that stuff too, right? It's a mixture of.
Depends on the light bulb. It depends on the type of light bulb.
Okay. UV light. A UV light is the exact same situation as the sun, in a sense that it uses a gas to light itself, to be lit up. It's not just all that does is ignite it. But if you take those the filaments, the ones that they say if you break them, you got to wash your hands and all the little filament get in your hands. Those are run off of gas. When you turn your light bulbs on, there's gas in those things. It's not just a filament and power. Otherwise, all it would do is turn red.
I think it's only fluorescent lights that are filled with gas. I don't think that a typical incandescent light bulb has gas in it.
I mean, no. I mean, all right, I'm going to go
ahead. Fluorescent bulbs and neon lamps, these types of bulbs have gas in them because it's the gas that is excited and it fluoresces, and that's how that kind of works.
Well, that's if
it's not a fluorescent
light. Yeah, incandescent's different.
Incandescent bulbs work with a filament. That filament is everything. Without that filament,
just the wire gets hot. And it glows. It's just ground.
No. See, that ignites the gases that are in it. That's why when you hit
incandescent bulb doesn't have gas in it.
Okay, we'll look it up.
I mean, I could be wrong, but I'm pretty sure incandescent bulbs don't do the gas thing.
Well, a lot of us, I should say, it's been suggested in our community that the sun is coming from a secondary source of energy, and what you're seeing is
okay. But here's
source
and that and I understand that, and that's also why I understand that. I also very openly know that I have a different point of view on a lot of things about flat Earth. But the one thing I can say is that able to observe these things, and then you take something that's observable and throw it out and turn it into something that's can't be even seen to be given a stepping stone to. I can't think of the sun being, for one, like a light switch, nothing but a gas.
Okay.
It doesn't make sense, because then I've also heard people say it doesn't send off heat. The heat comes from under us. Well, that's not true. Because
have you heard of also the suggestion? Another suggestion that it might be atomic absorption. Have you guys heard of that?
Say again.
Have you heard of atomic absorption?
Hang on, let me make sure. Oh, that's okay.
I think I've heard about that a little bit.
I'm not
atomic absorption.
Absorption.
Okay, no, but that's how radiation basically works.
Right.
But it does. The problem
suggested the sun gets its energy from atomic absorption. Also, the stars as well.
But then, where would it get that? Where would it get that from?
From the Earth.
Then you're saying that our atmosphere is radiation.
It's been suggested that it's in the air and in the ground. Yeah.
I mean, technically, if we actually do live within a torus field, which would be considered the cosmic egg, there's a lot of, there's a very strong possibility that that's the case. That torus field, in essence, is radiation of sorts, electromagnetic radiation.
But that's in between. That would have to be on the outside of the sun, but we know that's on the inside.
Now, see, this the thing.
Based on what I believe,
well, we don't know
on the inside.
The sun is a part of the system, and that's the problem with this 93 million mile away crap. With the sun being the size that it is, that it's no longer a part of the system.
I don't believe it's 93 million miles away.
I know.
But it still can do the same thing.
Well, okay. Then what I was trying to say earlier, just imagine the sun as close as it is, giving off a solar flare in the traditional sense that they show us. You're going to tell me that those flames ain't going to kiss the Earth?
Yeah. Okay. Put it this way, it does, but it doesn't to the point where it affects anything. That's exactly what I was saying. We can measure it. It's something that we can see on.
Right. You measure electromagnetism. You don't measure no flame or whatever coming off the surface of the sun.
Okay, so when you light your lighter, and I know you're going to get sick of this lighter thing, you understand that there's a heat wave. There's a heat wave that can also be measured.
Right, you're talking about the thermal, the BTUs, if you will, that's coming off of the.
Yeah, exactly. Right. Okay. So that's the same thing that happens off a nuclear weapon, but it still sits off an electrical charge too. So how does that happen? How does a nuclear weapon and an atomic weapon set off these electrical pulses if they're basically doing the same thing the sun's doing?
Once again, like I said, I just don't think that the sun is something that naturally puts out an EMP.
Okay.
Yeah, you may be able to witness sun flares and sunspots and all that stuff, but
the problem is I wouldn't be able to. I would be right with you if it wasn't for the fact that we and atomic do the exact same thing.
Yeah, but the sun is not nuclear.
Does this little thing? It does the same thing too.
Yeah, well, basically, yeah, that's true. But like I said before, the sun is not nuclear and it's not atomic.
So what you're saying is because,
if anything, it's electric.
Then what could it be? Okay, well, so like a light bulb?
Sort of.
Because that was what we were talking about. Again, is it like a light bulb?
I mean, yeah, I guess you could say. I don't know.
But that's what I was trying to tell you. Light bulbs, they do too. If it was just electricity, all it would do is make that little filament inside the light bulbs. All it would do is make it red. Without the gas, it does not light up like that. And if you're thinking of ones like LED lights don't. They don't have gas.
That's a diode. But well, see, the thing,
maybe the gases you're speaking of is just the ether that's being
No. It's argon. It's argon and nitrogen. We know what it is. We make the lamp, so we know exactly what it is.
What lamp? What lamps are you talking about?
It's a tungsten filament.
Tungsten. It's tungsten.
And there's a gas inside of light bulbs. There's an inert gas. An inert gas will not burn and will react anyway. So this one, same kind. Yeah, we'll find other bulbs too. Which one were you saying?
The fluorescent or neon?
No, I don't know which ones you were saying that doesn't have gas in it.
LED.
Oh, incandescent. I would say incandescent bulb. I've never known an incandescent bulb to have gas in it.
Long before Thomas Edison, 1979, commercialized an incandescent bulb, demonstrating that electric light was possible with an arc lamp.
And see, like what I was trying to say earlier, like you don't necessarily need a bulb to create a light, whatever. Like I was using the magnifying glass and the sun so now you take a magnifying glass in your hand, and because of the shape of that lens, you're focusing a larger light down to a point, which if you get that point sharp enough or whatever, concentrate that light to the center enough, it'll actually cause a fire. To me, the sun's no different than that. If anything, to me, that's more of how it works.
Okay, I'm sorry, go ahead.
Well, now I was just going to say, the light source itself doesn't necessarily have to be it floating up in the sky. What we see up in the sky could be the result of the focused light that's coming either whether it's through the dome somehow or somewhere else,
Have you heard of Eric Dollard?
Okay. So here's the problem with what you're saying. The same way you can light a fire with a magnifying glass in the sun, you can't do that with a light bulb and a magnifying glass or a flashlight and a magnifying glass.
Yeah, but I'm not saying that the sun is a light bulb, but that's what you keep using as a comparison. And the only thing I can do is say, yeah, because it lights up a local area and, it emits light in 360 degrees as far as a light bulb in that aspect. Yes. But when it comes to the workings of how the light is produced, totally different. It's something that we can't say for sure. We don't know how the sun's light is produced 100% certain. But we do know that it's not what they tell us it is, and it's not where they claim it's located.
It's been said. It's true.
Okay, then you have to explain to me then what is flaring off the sun and what is giving us those readings.
Well, to me, as far as the flare is concerned, like I said, I'm not exactly sure what the sun is made of or, how it actually works, but it could be something as simple as like what they call a cool spot. Could be just it could be an area of the sun, however it works, that just isn't generating the same power, or it could be a fly on the lens. Who knows? I don't know. I'm just saying. I honestly don't know at the end of the day, but it's not no ball of flame. It's not no ball of flame. And it's, it's a light source.
Yeah, you can't say, okay, here's the problem. You can't say it's not. Because there's more evidence that it is.
That it is what?
Just it's not. That it is a ball of gas and flames.
Like what?
What do you mean, like what? Like the sun?
No, I mean, what kind of evidence?
We can see the flares. We can see it. We can measure it.
Show me a solar flare.
That heat. Show me a flashlight that you can put on you that will give you the same emit the same amount of heat off like the sun does.
Well, it's not going to be at that level because it's obviously scaled down. But if you get the right type of flashlight or even a house lamp for that matter, those light bulbs, incandescent bulbs, put off a nice amount of heat. Even halogen bulb.
Yeah,
have you ever been next to a halogen bulb?
Absolutely.
Yeah. Have you stood?
You're talking floodlights.
Yeah, but I'm saying, have you stood within 6 inches of a halogen bulb floodlight? Like the long bar light, the thing will chase you away because it's literally starting to fry your skin. Yep. Now, just imagine. Wait, hold on.
So if you
just imagine. Wait. Now, wait a minute. But now just imagine scaling that up to something modestly like the size of a football field. A halogen light that's the size of a football field, and you powered that thing up. You wouldn't be able to be within 100 miles of that thing. It'd burn you to a crisp.
And you would see heat coming off.
Also, how much would that weigh? How would you power it?
Yeah, exactly. But what the point that
if you're saying that that's what the sun is, then you have to tell me how.
I'm not saying that's what the sun is. I'm just using the halogen bulb for example because you said a bulb can't put off that kind of heat, and yes, you can. There are plenty different types of bulbs that put off heat.
Light.
This is why like superstars get on the stage and they do their thing and they be sweating like runaway slaves because the lights produce a lot of heat and they up there jumping around like fools dancing and singing.
But even then, still nothing compared to what the sun does.
Well, that's all a matter of relativity as far as scale is concerned.
How far the sun is. So I think we can say that the average between 3,000 and 5,000 miles away.
More or less, yeah.
3 and 10. 10 is the best. To me personally, means if you take those said and put them, we'll even say just a mile away.
You're breaking up, bro.
All right, hang on.
Hey, gravity, brother.
Hang on 1 second.
It's that gravity, Dre.
Yeah.
Remember that shit yesterday?
He's like, oh.
That gravity's pulling you.
Pulling you hard.
Is that better?
Yeah.
So basically what you're saying is that if you take any of those things and put them a mile away from us, it'll do the same situation. Now, the one scenario you said before could possibly make sense, where you said if there was as big as a football field, but then we all know that how would it be powered? What is it running off of? How is it staying up there?
Right. Well, this is one of the things that lead the flat earthers that believe the sun is a projection to believe that the emanating source is somewhere outside the so-called system. The light maybe perhaps comes through the dome, which causes it to to create a focal point, which is the sun that gives us the heat and the warmth that we experience along with the light. I mean, and it's feasible.
The dome is the magnifying glass, you're saying?
In essence, yeah. However, that would work on that scale, but yeah, in essence, I mean, when you take any convex lens, you can focus light, on the opposite side.
Yeah, it's a possibility. There's quite a few different explanations what the sun is and what it's made of. So, I mean, nobody knows definitively what it really is, Sean. We're just here. I mean,
trying to figure it out.
You're going on based on information.
And another.
No. Hang on.
Wait, listen, just real quick.
Because I know how to do that. And I can tell you now the information that I'm saying right now is not from NASA.
Yeah, no, I can agree with that because he ain't said nothing about NASA yet.
No. He just said it.
Well, because you're talking about gas.
I'm getting from NASA.
But NASA wouldn't agree.
And that's what we're taught. We're indoctrinated that the sun is nuclear fusion, bomb exploding, and all this heat and off it.
The problem is what you're not understanding is these are things that you and I can go outside with a solar flare or a solar filter and see happening. So either we're seeing gases, or what else would we be seeing?
See, now this is my question to you. If I go outside right now or whatever, and I or during some activity, we'll say, and I put a solar a filter on my telescope and look at the sun, you're going to tell me that I can see a giant flame shooting up off the sun surface?
No,
well, he's not sure what it is.
No, I didn't say that.
Wait.
Like a circle, a different color.
What do I see?
You'll see basically a round. Looks round,
like an arc.
You can see the different spots from previous solar flares.
Okay, no. Wait, chill. Do I actually see flames exiting the surface, or do I just see solar flares? I mean, sunspots.
You'll see sunspots.
Okay, a sunspot and a solar flare are two different things.
But we already explained that. A solar flare or a sunspot is the result of after a solar flare has already happened, and
Okay.
We use the scenario as it's scab of the sun after a solar flare.
I get that now. Where is this coming from as far as the sunspot is the result of the after effect of a solar flare?
So how do we know that a sunspot is from a solar flare, you were saying?
Yeah, how do we know that the sun did a CME and pushed out this big ass flame, and then the end result is the cool spot that we know as a sunspot? Where's that coming from?
If you watch it at the time of predicted time the solar flare would happen, you would basically see it. You would watch a sunspot develop.
So do you ever see the flame?
And then after a certain amount of time, you'd be able to measure. You'd be able to see a spike or a movement in that.
Listen to me.
In that pulse.
Listen to me, brother. If tomorrow afternoon it's a nice bright sunny day, they're predicting historic sun flare activity. I put my solar filter on my telescope. I look at the sun. Am I going to see what they're calling a CME or some sort of flames rising up off the sun? Okay, all right, pause.
I've already explained to you that
pause for a second. So you're saying what I'm going to see is a sunspot, right?
Okay, hang on 1 sec. Don't talk yet because I won't hear you. Hang on. I tried to open another tab, but it didn't work. So go ahead.
Right. So I'm going to see a sunspot. I'm not going to see no flames or no magnetic arcing or nothing like that. I'm just going to see a sunspot. That's what you're saying.
So.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now you're telling me that the reason I'm seeing this sunspot is because previously some solar flare happened and it left the sunspot in its wake. Correct?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, basically, yes.
Okay. Now, what I'm saying to you is, one, I see one of these solar flares, and two,
you can measure a solar flare.
See, there you go. Now, basically, the point that I was making earlier is the story that they tell you about solar flares and these ejection of flames is hot garbage. It's BS. Now, you said that.
But I also said that was the same reason. So when I showed the picture on my background, those that show you the range of the EMP, those are the flames off the sun. It's all it is a visual depiction, so you understand what's happening.
Right, but see that visual depiction
don't make a damn bit of difference. When you set off an EMP, it doesn't set off a perfect circle.
No, I agree with that, but you're telling me that that's a visual depiction, but at the same time, these people use this visual depiction to basically more or less indoctrinate people, just like they use the globe as a visual depiction to get people to believe in the globe, whether consciously or subconsciously. That phenomena does not happen. There, in fact, may be some sort of electrical discharge that they do measure, but they don't want you to understand or know what that sun is. So then they cloak it as, it's a sun flare. And at any moment, this can reach out and scorch the earth and fry everything.
That's fear-mongering. It's fear porn, yeah.
Then what's being measured? Because they can measure these things.
It's the energy.
It's the energy, right? Yeah. The energy that the sun contains within. It's like any other. Listen.
Wait. So you're saying that there is a pulse?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, because it's something that can be measured.
Hang on. So the only thing you're arguing right now is that big ball of flames that comes shooting out the side of it.
Yeah, this is what I was trying to get you to see earlier.
Okay. So are you discounting EMPs because this picture in my background shows rings?
No, I was just trying to make the point that the EMP is not caused by that solar flare that they're showing you, because it's not. That's not how it goes.
Okay.
No.
So are you telling me that an EMP is not caused by the pulse waves, because these rings are showing you where they're at? You saw in that picture is a depiction. You won't be able to see that. It's a depiction of what happens, so you have an understanding of it.
Have you ever seen the live feed of the sun?
Right, I was just about to say
that. Like, seriously, have you ever watched the live feed of the sun?
Yes.
You know, why show millions of people that on the news?
Right. Okay, now this is the point. Exactly. Now this is the point that I'm making. The live feed that they show of the sun shows exactly what you have on that picture, and it's no different from the way that the solar flares are formed to when it shows sunspots. There's never any disruption in the feed. It's been 100% reliable since the day that they put it up, yet it hasn't melted. The signal hasn't faded. There's been no pixelation, none of that stuff. Like, how? If that picture is supposed if that picture is supposed to be just a visual aid, basically, of what you're saying, how can they show us a live feed of the same exact thing that you're showing in that picture? It's not real. That's not how the sun works.
Okay, so here's the thing. Let me try to pull it up, because what you're saying. So I guess you would have to explain to me, how does the sun work then? Because if you say I don't know, then my theory of it being a gas and how it does, you can do a reading on these flares. It makes more sense to me.
Okay, like I said, well, I mean, I'll take it.
It has to at least have a step of a fact, of a proof to work in my book. It doesn't work for me if it's just because.
Sean, you know what that sounds like to me? That sounds like, you know, since you don't know, and we saying we may not know 100%. I'm just going to accept whatever they telling me.
Okay, that's exactly.
And that's 100%.
And I'll explain to you exactly the same reason that I still believe in evolution over creationism, because when you go to creationism, there are 0 steps to prove it. If you go to evolution, there's things that you can look at and go, okay, that is more of an evolutionary fact than not.
But that's just persuading you to believe that.
No, I
have to 100% disagree with you on that.
There's a difference between evolution and adaptation.
But I've shown you proof of evolution that they have studied today within 35 years.
I gotta disagree with you.
And there's a difference between adaptation. Complete difference.
I don't think evolution.
Now, okay, how about
in
this?
terms
what about evolution is not real?
All of it.
Well,
but I need facts. I need a reason for it.
A reason that evolution is not real?
All right, Sean. If evolution was real,
what about evolution is not
I'm looking for me a man, so I'm waiting on these monkeys in the zoo to turn, because they're pretty trained.
Okay. Now, you said that. Now give me one fact for creationism.
I mean, that's a joke, but
one fact for creationism, I'd say the
I believe in the Bible,
sequence.
But that's just me. I'm biased.
It's a movie. It's not real. It's not something that a scientist or anybody can go off of and say, this is how this works.
Really? You think that that's not real?
No. I know it's real, but it's not real for creationism. It does nothing. It's not. What is it? What part of that is a fact for creationism?
Someone had to kind of set that formula in motion, if you will, for these things to be so repetitive throughout like different aspects of life. You know, these numbers they're definitely not coincidental.
They've also been able to prove that there's this perfect number, that this equation, right?
An equation.
The pyramids, like the pyramids and all that stuff. The reason they say the pyramids are basically the reason pi exists. There's supposed to be this perfect number that comes off of it. See, that's my issue. Okay.
Well,
So
okay, so if these perfect numbers exist, you don't think they exist on accident, do you?
I need what part of evolution is not what part of evolution makes you believe that evolution is not real? Now, you say everyone always keeps saying allude to these monkeys. Okay, first of all, no one, even evolutionists don't say we come from monkeys.
Okay, that was a joke, but what I'm saying is you can't really believe that everything was here and in perfect. Everything is a perfect cycle. You can't tell me you believe that was.
See, listen. In order to believe in evolution,
creation.
In order to believe in evolution, you have to literally believe in the Big Bang. I mean, that's like they go hand in hand.
You don't. No, you don't.
That's like saying that you believe that the Earth is not spinning, but it's a globe. It doesn't make sense.
Here's the wonderful part about it.
It's scientism.
Here's the wonderful part about it. Hang on.
Evolution, Big Bang.
Here's the part. I have recently just figured this out too, and it blew my mind when I found out this actually exists. So I asked a question to somebody, and I say, I understand what evolution is, and I understand what the evidence is behind evolution, but I don't. But I've said this to you, Dre, but I don't understand what started evolution. What was the start from? It's not evolution. Evolution has nothing to do. No, hang on. Evolution has nothing to do with a creating of anything. Evolution is basically just the steps that things are taking as it progresses as a species.
No, that's adaptation. That's called adaptation.
That's not adaptation. Yeah. Hang on.
Absolutely.
Okay. Again, then I ask you this. Give me one fact of creationism. One fact. Just one.
Like I said before, just off the
there you go. All right, wait, stop. Hold on. So here's what I'm saying about it. I don't think you're asking for facts about evolution or creatism, but I think that neither one of them will ever produce a fact. And that is a reason because we're supposed to find out this stuff.
Evolution has many facts.
No,
that's the issue.
Depends on who you ask.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Tell me one fact. Start ridding off some facts that people say evolution has that aren't really facts.
I'm gonna put it like this, just real quick. I'm gonna try to make this as simple as possible. The theory of evolution implies that basically species, not only a species, but millions of species basically developed into the perfect machines or the perfect entities, biological entities that they are through a process of trial and error. So for instance, we'll take a wild cat, for instance. So at one point in time, the wild cat, whatever, went through its gestation stage. It was born and it had like a clubbed paw, or, it had like 3 claws too small, and then it wasn't successful, then it reproduced somehow, and then like evolution figured out that last adaptation was detrimental as opposed to beneficial. And it's like for a species to develop,
you're literally taking out steps and you're taking out how it works to make it not work.
Evolution, what you're talking about occurs on a genetic level. In order for genetic material to be altered and go through a process of trial and error, you're literally talking about hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of thousands of hundreds of millions of years of trial and error to create something that's feasible in the end. Yeah, absolutely. Come on, man.
I've literally told you personally a test that took 37 years that proves evolution, not adaptation. Adaptation does not change a genetic structure. Adaptation is something that happens so you can exist in that environment. Now,
that's not true. Adaptation can change your genetic structure.
Can I explain? No. How?
Sure, it can. Through horizontal gene transfer is one way.
Can you move somewhere and adapt there?
Yes.
Well,
okay.
I can move somewhere and I don't have a house. That's called adaptation. That's not called evolution. That's me moving somewhere. I don't have a house, so I adapt and I create myself a house in order to have shelter. I don't have clothes. I'm running butt ass naked through the woods. I adapt and I create myself some damn timberlands out of some fucking leaves and
So it's evolution. So you're telling me adapting can take 1,000 years?
Adapting takes place over 1,000 years. Okay. That's what adaptation is.
You just told me you can move somewhere and adapt. You're not going to live for 1,000 years. So then what is that?
Okay, so then that applies if you buy into
though it's still not the creation of something. It's
right.
It's the beginning of how
It's
something.
not, you're right. It's not the creation of something. I'm explaining it's not. It's called evolution. You guys are trying to say evolution doesn't exist.
No, evolution is the genetic mutation of. It's a mutation of the genetic information that serves the species in a positive fashion. In order for that to occur, in order for that. Wait. In order for that to occur, that genetic sequence has to go through a series of trial and error to see what's more beneficial to that creature.
No.
How can you have a species of anything that can sustain their numbers if they're constantly going through mutations that aren't beneficial to their species?
That is exactly why. That's exactly why creationism can't be possible. Okay, so you're telling me something creates an animal, and then all of a sudden that animal is not it's not able to survive because of whatever situation is going on. Why doesn't that one animal, that breed, just go extinct immediately? Why do we see animals, their species go down and up, and then something happens and
because the animals
changes and then it flourishes again?
The animals respond to the environment that they're in. That's called adaptation. That's not called evolution.
Adaptation is now. Evolution is over time.
No,
just like
evolution
is just told me that.
Evolution is a word. Evolution is a word that they created to basically go along with the rest of the story to explain all the bullshit of where we came from and everything else. That's what that word is about. Evolution is bullshit. It's all adaptation.
It's all part of the narrative, right?
You create something. At what point? How does if you create two zebras, how does those zebras become something else?
The only way that those two zebras can become something else is if their environment changes and it forces physiological changes in that biological entity. That's called adaptation. That's not called evolution.
What you're telling me is then a woolly mammoth and an Asian elephant of today is the exact same thing. Because under creational standards, those two things are 100% the same thing, just adapted.
Okay. Once again, you said it for me. Adapted.
I still don't see how you're saying that can be evolution, though. It would still because the beginning of that animal had to be something, and it didn't come from an accident.
Okay, then where did it come from? So you're saying that elephants were around 10 million years ago?
I don't know what was around 10 million years ago, honestly, but I know that
under creation standards, you're saying that every animal we have here is the animal that it was then. Because evolution explains how they're not.
Yeah, but even if they're not, animals aren't humans, and you can't even compare the two.
Okay, humans are the same thing.
Well,
but
you're telling me, so 1,000 years ago, you're telling me people walked around at 6'5"?
All right, let me put it to you this way. So let's say, let's say we all started as one person, right? And so, so then Adam and Eve, let's say they were black. Well, there came white people sometime. Let's say I marry a black man and we have children. Those children are going to be different than myself and their father. It's not. It's kind of like that. That's
no, but they're not the same. They have different DNA structures.
See, listen, this is what like evolution implies. Like for instance, it's a simple change. It's a simple change. Like for instance, like say if that cat that we were talking about, well, that cat had trouble, biting into its prey. So then over time it evolved and its canine teeth became longer so that it can puncture the flesh. That's what basically evolution says.
No. See, you're taking something that doesn't exactly happen the same way.
That's what evolution is.
Can I give you my? Took a biological. I believe in evolution. Can I give you my example of evolution?
But it just did it through trial and error.
See what you're doing.
I want to hear what you think.
You're taking something like a saber-toothed tiger. Well, guess what? Saber-toothed tigers aren't around anymore. Saber-toothed tigers, their prey is gone. They're gone.
Did I say saber-toothed tiger?
No, but you said teeth. So I'm gonna.
I don't believe dinosaurs were ever here, but.
Okay.
Yeah,
it doesn't need to be dinosaurs. We've already established that. Okay, our alligators. How long have they been around?
An alligator is probably something that they based the myth of dinosaurs on.
Okay,
oh yeah,
fine.
yeah.
Then they based the myth. Fine. I didn't even say bring dinosaurs up in this, so we don't even need to be doing that. I asked you. Okay, so here's here's a real version of evolution. So we'll say there's 1,000 zebras. They all are offsprings of some other zebras. They're all going to be different in one little way, some different way. Now, the zebras that have less stripes compared to the zebras that have more stripes. Now, if more of the zebras that have more stripes make more babies, and the ones that have no stripes don't, guess what's going to happen? The prey is going to see those ones a lot more. It's going to kill those ones off a lot more. And the ones with stripes that blend in and can't be seen are going to live a lot longer. So once it comes to a certain point when zebras completely have stripes, because guess what? They didn't always have complete stripes.
And that's called adaptation. Those animals adapted to their surroundings so that they blended in better.
Okay, there's a problem with that. I can show you right now. I can pull up an animal that is basically as close to a zebra as it gets in the genetic codes. There's one little thing off, and it's not a zebra. Now, you telling me that animal did not become a zebra?
I think if evolution is ever a thing, it was man-made. So I don't think that had anything to do with the beginning of time.
Then what is creationism?
I think that what you just real quick
is giving me facts of evolution not being true, which aren't even right. But you still haven't given me a fact for creationism.
Well, no,
and just code don't mean crap to me.
Just to kind of touch on what you said about that that cat or whatever you just the saber. No, whatever you just said. I kind of lost my train of thought.
The malfunction cat.
No, the zebras.
Okay,
the zebras.
Are you saying that the saber-tooth didn't exist?
No, I'm not saying that it didn't exist at all. Not at all.
Just checking.
But what I'm saying is those are adaptations. Like for instance, with the zebras, the ones that didn't blend into their environment were easy pickings for the prey, so they got plucked off. That's what they call survival of the fittest. But at the end of the day, it's an adaptation that those particular zebras, for whatever reason, didn't adapt to become optimally hidden within their environment. That's not evolution. Right. Now, wait, hold on. Now you said that there was. But hold on. You said that there was another animal that was similar to the zebra, but it didn't turn into a zebra. Okay, well then that's no different between that's no different between you have a mountain lion versus a puma or whatever the case may be. It's still a type of a cat. It's still a type.
No, those are the two exact same things.
A mountain lion and a bobcat, are they the same thing?
No.
Okay,
but they're part of the same family.
All right, but this is what I'm saying. But this is the same deal with those zebras that you were just talking about. The one that didn't turn into what we call a modern day zebra. They're in the same family. They just have a slightly different. They just have a slightly different change about them that makes them them.
A bobcat and a mountain lion, they're way different. They're part of the same family, but they're different.
Right, exactly. They're in the same family.
We literally can see the genetic step from the animal that I'm talking about, which is like I forget, it starts with some weird name.
I got to ask you a question.
To one step to zebra.
Do you understand how genetics work?
I want to know.
Absolutely do. And as far as I know, creationism doesn't even believe in DNA code. How is that possible?
I never.
You can't.
I will find it right now for you, because that was one of the biggest things. Like, what the hell?
Real talk. I want to know, how do you think that we got here? Do you believe in the Big Bang Theory?
As far as we're able to measure or we're able to find in genetic code of animals and stuff, I have no clue, and I've always said that I have no idea how the beginning started, but I know it wasn't some entity that snapped his fingers.
Everything is made of the same thing. It's just a different combination of the proteins. Okay. Everything is made of the same stuff.
Okay, so do me a favor. Don't avoid the question. Give me one fact that it is creationism.
Everything's perfectly coded in every way.
No, it is not perfectly coded. If everything was perfectly coded, things wouldn't die off.
Everything is a system living off a system, living on a system, living off a system that started from the same system.
you're not proving or giving me a fact for creationism. I need a proof that something just snapped his fingers and decided that's what's happening.
So did an accident cause that?
Ultimately, the decision to call it creationism.
Why would the Big Bang even be an accident?
So then you're implying that somebody caused the Big Bang, which is creationism.
No, you're saying that.
You ever heard that John Eddie Murphy said, nothing leaves
again,
nothing.
You're still not giving me facts of creationism. You're just trying to run your way around it.
No, you have to determine that on your own. You have to determine that on, like when you look into the sequences of life in general. They're not random processes.
And I can give you facts for evolution that you can just deny. And I say, give me a fact for creationism, and you just tell me I have to figure it out for myself.
Okay, then show me some factual evidence of how humans evolved over the past 2 million years. No, matter of fact, over the past 10 million years.
That's what I'm saying. I don't think either side is going to have actual facts, no matter how hard.
No, we do have facts. So then you tell me what we've been finding for all these years of human remains that aren't the same as ours.
If you're talking about like Lucy and all these other things, like I can point you into a direction. I can point you into a direction.
No. Okay, how about this? Let's not go back to Lucy because there's stuff 2,000 years ago.
If you let me finish, it might shed a little light on these so-called bodies or whatever that are turning up or whatever case that you might be trying to link to it.
So we do know humans did die. So
divine creation is proven through DNA. You can't
these
get that.
These bodies that they've been finding, also particularly in the Eurasian steppes or whatever they're called over there. These bodies are also bodies that they think were or believed to be genetically manipulated and basically were the remnants of gene splicing.
Yeah,
but it has nothing to do with evolution.
That's still, as far as I'm concerned, that still goes under the same thing as you saying there was fucking machines.
Well, if that's the case, and they were man-made,
dug out the Grand Canyon.
Well, so I was going to point you. I was going to point you. As a matter of fact, I did point you in the direction of the brother that breaks all this stuff down, and he goes into the Olmec heads, and he goes into how all these different people were created by gene splicing them with hominids and whatever else. And his information.
Was that guy, right? Was it?
No, his name. I think his name is Brett Carr, and his information, as far as I'm concerned, on the genetic level, is on point. So he has a lot of valid information as far as where the so-called races, if you will, come from, and he goes into the genetic information pertaining to the features of the different people, starting with the Jawara. And he goes into it deep. So a lot of these bodies that you may be referring to as far as evidence of evolution may in fact be the bodies of the people that they were using to do these genetic gene splicing, whether they're experiments or creation. No, there is evidence. Like I said before, I can point you into the direction, but then you got to sift through all the information that the brother presents and then make your own conclusion.
The last time me, you, and Dreads on his show had this conversation, I was pointing to this guy named Lloyd Pyle, right? And that was exactly what it was. He explained how we couldn't have came from monkeys. No one said we did, and that's like the biggest thing you guys got to realize. No one said we were born out of fucking monkey's ass and became humans. It doesn't work that way. But this is the same type of thing. So when I look up your guy, does he believe in aliens? Does he believe that there's an alien race?
I don't know who that guy is.
No, as far as I know, he doesn't. I mean,
okay, I would like to know that first because I was sent to this guy, Lloyd Pyle, who perfectly broke down, and it almost made sense how we didn't come from monkeys because we didn't. And then right in the next paper he has is the Star Childs.
See, but this guy doesn't even mention anything from outer space. It's all done by humans. It's all done by human beings.
And his name is
Brett Carr.
Brett Carr. Okay.
And I told you he's got long ass videos. His videos, some of them are 4 or 5 hours long, but the information
I play those kind of videos on
too. that he's presenting as far as the back breeding and the genetic splicing, how like this group was mixed with this particular animal or hominid, whatever, and this group of people were mixed with this particular hominid, and then he goes into the features.
So you're telling me that he believes that somebody actually went to a monkey and a human and mix their genes?
Yeah,
because that's not possible. That's not.
No,
You can go have sex with a monkey. You can go have sex with a monkey and have a baby?
No, see, you're not listening to me. I said backbreeding and gene splicing. If you know how genetics work, you should understand that you don't have to have sex with a hominid or a monkey or some sort in order to create an offspring.
But
it doesn't work like that.
Those offsprings aren't
they're not viable. This is where the backbreeding comes in.
They can't. Yeah, but they can't have kids. They can't have offsprings of their own. So it would obviously stop.
Sean, listen. When you start genetically splicing species, whether it's a human with a hominid, and it's only with hominids, you can't do it with any other species. And the reason why that's the case is because that's the most closely related thing to us as a human. But when you start manipulating the genome of these particular animals, you can absolutely create a viable offspring, and it doesn't occur through sex.
So you're telling me a monkey and a giraffe can have an offspring through?
Absolutely not.
Okay, then how?
Absolutely not. Okay, so then listen. No, stop. Pause right there. How can you make a jellyfish glow?
By bioluminescence, whatever.
No, jellyfish don't contain bioluminescent compounds.
Are you sure? No, not all. I don't know. I don't know exactly because I don't know every species of jellyfish. But
all right. Well,
say that they can't is
the point that I'm making is a jellyfish can't have sex with a lightning bug, but yet they can take the genetic material information from a lightning bug and then splice it with the genetic information of a jellyfish and make that jellyfish fluoresce and glow.
Did they do this?
Absolutely, they've done it.
Because you understand that animals in the sea that do the same thing.
Yeah, that's called bioluminescence.
It's not the same chemical.
Listen, but you're not listening to me, Sean. What I'm telling you listen to me for a second, brother, please. What I'm telling you is through genetic manipulation, you can take information from two completely different species and you can combine them into one species and have a viable product. Just like they take the silk spider and they take the silk spider and they synthesize the silk spider's whatever they make their web with like a goat or some shit, and it makes their silk like 10 times stronger. But a fucking spider and a goat can't fuck, but they create something through genetics. This is all I'm saying to you. I'm not telling you that giraffes fuck butterflies and all this other crazy shit. I'm just telling you that through genetic manipulation, you can do virtually anything.
Like a test tube baby. No. They're not
I completely understand. You're not saying that anything that has to do with having sex with each other.
But the reason why I use the jellyfish at glowing for an example is because this is an experiment that they've done over 20 years ago, and they took genetic material from a damn lightning bug and they spliced it with the genetic material of a fucking typical jellyfish that you would find in like Atlantic City. Listen, but what I'm saying is the jellyfish that they used, it was not a jellyfish that has the ability of bioluminescence. It was a typical run-of-the-mill, like a jellyfish you would find in fucking Atlantic City. And they spliced the motherfucker with some lightning bug juice or whatever, however they did that, and the motherfucker glowed. And it wasn't supposed to. And this was done through genetics. This is how they create GMOs. A fucking apple tree is not meant to suck up glyphosate and survive, but they genetically modify it and it accepts the glyphosate and it survives. Just like there was a woman that created a fucking battery out of sea life, and basically what she did is she changed the genetic code of a fucking seashell, and instead of the seashell collecting calcium out of the water, it was collecting copper. She made a fucking living battery. Genetics are the holy grail and how they work. Evolution is bullshit. If anything, all these variations of animals and this other shit that we experience is a result of genetic manipulation, or what they call intelligent design. It's not by chance. It's not something that just fucking happened.
Wait. Not okay. I don't believe that they did that before. First of all, there's no evidence that they were doing that, what they do today. So where
as far as the genetics?
No. So where are the gene splice proof before, like there is today, if you're saying it's like that?
That's like saying where's all the proof for flat Earth that we have now that wasn't available, whatever. It's information.
No, it's not. No, that's not. Because How is that? How is it? The Earth doesn't change. So, I mean, just because people weren't thinking about observing the fact that it's flat has nothing to do with proof
Let
of
me ask you
gene
something.
splicing from whenever you're saying it happened.
Do you honestly believe that gene splicing is something that's like new that we just created within like the past 200 years or something?
Oh, absolutely.
Man, I hate to say it, but if you believe that, you're really naive.
Okay, can you show me some proof of it?
Share proof of what?
Gene splicing. Because obviously, what you're saying to me is with they're changing this and this. They're very obvious things you can see that were spliced, right? I mean, you wouldn't come across these things and go, "Damn, why does that chicken fucking have?"
How see? But this is this is the thing though. But you deal with whether it's physically touch or eat things on a daily basis that aren't even necessarily natural, that were created through genetics.
Not 200 years.
So,
What 200? What 200 years ago was
okay?
Like
okay. Let me say this. We'll do it like this. How old is a Cavendish banana?
I have no freaking clue.
I mean, just take a stab in the dark.
A what?
A Cavendish banana.
A natural banana.
A Cavendish banana is not a natural banana.
Well, that's why I'm asking you. What is it? I can tell you right now
a Cavendish banana is a hybrid. It's something that was created through genetics.
It's no more than about 120 something years. Older than that.
Oh yeah, I mean, I don't know. I was just asking to see if you knew.
I know this because that's all the bananas that we eat today are not the same banana, or not the same.
All right. Well, the point that I was making, just because people are doing things with genetics doesn't necessarily mean that they're in a laboratory and they're like, looking at shit under a microscope and fucking using flasks and syringes.
Is completely different. Gene splicing is a different story than genes.
I agree. Gene splicing is completely different. But the point that I was basically making is, if people knew how to manipulate the genetics of food on this level, even if it was 100 to 150 years ago, do you seriously believe that?
No, see, but what they do to food now is completely different than then. Because all they would really have to do is take a banana seed. But all you gotta do is take a banana seed and plant it somewhere else.
No, that's not how it works. That's like saying you can take an apple seed from a typical apple, plant it, and you're gonna have an apple tree in 5 years, and that will absolutely not happen.
It works.
No,
because
I guarantee you. If you go to the supermarket and you buy apples and you plant those seeds and you actually
it won't work,
and you actually get a tree to grow, it's not going to bear fruit.
Okay, so what you're telling me? No, you can't. For an apple seed, it won't grow at all.
Will.
Yeah, you have to buy special ones. I understand that, but you're telling me that an apple grown on top of a mountain is going to grow the same as an apple grown on a sea level?
Absolutely not.
Okay, that right there has changed it. So you don't need to gene splice anything to change it.
Yeah, its environment changed it. That goes right back to the adaptation.
Completely
biological entities adapt to their environment.
Just won't grow. Like, we can't grow poppy seeds here.
Yeah, and that's an environmental thing. That's like saying but see, now it depends on the environment. I can build myself a greenhouse and I can grow a pineapple in my backyard, but pineapples don't grow in Jersey.
You're going away from what you're saying. You were trying to show me how genetic splicing was possible back then, and you were using the bananas. Well, I just told you exactly how those natural bananas that we no longer see or that grow, how they changed without gene splicing.
But maybe that was a bad thing for me to do. I was just using that to make the point that if they were aware how to manipulate food on this level 200 years ago, or 150 years ago.
Gene splicing are not the same. Manipulating is doing something in itself.
No, I agree. That's why I said maybe that was a bad idea for me to use that. But no, I agree. I definitely agree with that. With that statement.
So weird. I'm sorry for interrupting y'all.
Yeah, I did.
Wait, hang on. I gotta tell you.
I do want to know though why can't we plant a? Shouldn't we be able to plant a fruit from something that came out of a fruit? Why is that even a question?
No, they
not from the supermarket
because they took the genes out of shit.
Yeah, it's all GMO.
See, and that's the same thing.
Apples, all those things you get at a grocery store are completely not natural. They're made to not yield seeds.
Some things will grow, like for instance, if you take a lemon seed and you put it in some dirt, it'll make like a little lemon tree or a little lemon bush, but it ain't gonna bear no fruit.
Yeah, it's what it is if you go to like the whole, well, I don't even know about Whole Foods anymore. If mom and pop places,
even they're shady.
Typically, you can get seeds from their fruits, but if you're getting anything from Albertsons, any of those places, the seeds won't yield anything. There are still seeds that will grow out there.
Some of them, yeah.
But typically you have to like go to a place or special order to get viable seeds.
And that's exactly why Monsanto, because basically they passed a law, made all the farmers turn their seeds in, and then they got to purchase them every year from Monsanto. That's crazy.
Yeah. And they government subsidizing.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Seeds in their soil. They got to use their soil too and their pesticides.
Well, the soil. That's a whole nother ball game, and it's actually funny that not back on the EMP topic. Iodine or the iodide. That's one of the things that they push if something were to happen with a nuclear strike, you need to get that iodide up in you or whatever. But it's funny how hang
on one second. Hang on. I just want to make it very clear that I did say that bananas were not natural. They're not the same bananas you will find in South America where they originated at. They're not the same at all.
Neither is a watermelon.
I completely understand that.
Neither is corn.
Yeah, no. But in the chat, they're insinuating that I'm saying stuff that I definitely haven't. I said apples. The apples would be different.
A carrot's not even natural.
Yeah, I 100%. Yeah, but in the chat, I'm being where is it? He said, I hate to say it, but bananas are one of the most man-made manipulated fruits. I understand that they're not natural anymore. I get that. When I said the top of the mountain to the sea level, I said they would be different. They're not going to grow the same.
And for the record, the only difference would probably be the size. And maybe a little bit of taste,
and
maybe a little bit of taste,
maybe a small bit,
right?
Yeah. But
things are different for you, anyways.
Actually, I'd rather eat something grown up in the mountains down in the lowlands.
I gotta answer some of these in the chat. You would get it, but you wouldn't get a valuable apple. Yeah, it would. It doesn't matter if you grow an apple in the mountains correctly, and you grow apple in the sea level correctly. The apple doesn't change the genetic of the seed. It doesn't mean that seed a natural. We're talking natural, not from the store. An apple will grow again, no matter where it grows. If you grow it right, it has nothing to do with where you grow it.
You can't grow it above the tree line, though.
Well, yeah.
Can't grow it in Antarctica.
Wouldn't that be some shit if all those seeds that won't grow now, you have to grow them above the tree line?
Yeah.
See, what's happening is you're saying that I don't think these things would work, but I'm saying exactly what you're saying in the chat, Karen. I'm saying everything you're saying is the same thing.
But I think I just seen what was saying in the chat. Yeah, to fill your thyroid.
I see again. See, she's saying, Sean, I researched apples. They're GMOs and taste the way they do. It will not be sweet. Okay. We're not comparing GMOs to natural apples. We're saying we're in that apple situation. We took two natural, never been touched by GMO type apples, and we both separated them and put one in the mountains and one at sea level, and that's what we were going off of. You're saying things that I'm not even saying. I completely understand that GMO has been touched by man, and that those seeds don't work. You can find. I also said you can find seeds that work. Some aren't manipulated so that they don't grow. But generally, if it has anything to do with a marketed apple, the seeds will not grow anything. From Vons, Albertsons, Walmart, Kroger's, wherever you shop at, if it's a big business, you will not be able to grow something there.
Piggly Wiggly. All that.
Yeah. There are places you can find stuff. I'm sorry, guys. I'm talking to the chat now. So just kidding. There are places that you can go. You can go on the internet. There, like I said, mom and pop places. A lot of mom and pop places. You can still get those seeds and grow them because they're not, as you would say, factory fruits.
What you want to do,
but they're not.
You want to look.
Aren't given.
You want to look for what's called an heirloom seed. If you're getting an heirloom seed, you're getting what you need. But
that's what I was trying to remember.
Yeah, but at the same time, you got to kind of be careful about where you pick up your heirloom seeds, because just like with everything else, you got people that they ain't got no scruples. They'll defraud you in a heartbeat and sell you some GMO shit, telling you it's an heirloom seed. So as long as you can find somebody that you think is reputable as far as the heirloom seed, that's the route you want to take if you're interested in growing your own stuff.
And also, there are chemicals that you don't want to use, because they will turn your seeds sterile. They actually, I know you guys got to remember from back in the day, Fox Farm. It used to be for growing tomatoes, quote unquote, weed. There was a brand of Fox Farm that used to make marijuana seeds non-yieldable. So you'd use this, it'd blow your shit up, but then that was you weren't harvesting ever again with those seeds.
Mm-hmm.
No. We're talking about just in general, not planting seeds.
But yeah, this just real quick, I wanted to jump back to that. We was talking about the EMP or whatever, but hang on.
When it comes to the whole EMP thing, I'm gonna probably do a video, because personally I don't think I'm very good at the live presentation thing. And also I prefer to go into a subject and kind of
stay in
map out. No. I actually like how we do this. This is why I love when you're on the fucking panel, Dre. It's never just one subject. It can go in 10 different ways, and I like that.
Yeah, my bad. I got OCD.
No.
What's that?
I did it too.
Not OCD.
Yeah,
that's the wrong one. Yeah, the ADD. That's what I got.
Cover. I go live with one topic, and throughout the whole stream, we end up doing about 10.
Yeah. That's what's up.
Yo, what happened?
Oh man.
All right, hang on. Hey, Jay, I'm gonna tell you now. You do that again, I'm gonna boot you myself.
What, you got muted?
What you're talking about.
Yeah, he muted me, and it's not gonna happen anymore.
I was wondering if he got caught off only for me or what.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Hey, look, Jay is trying to be that dude that was on Dread's panel before. Remember the dude, what's it called,
Oh, he's trying to be J Mars.
Yeah, that's the one.
J Mars.
Yeah.
Strike a pose.
Just don't start calling us niggas.
Hey,
we so sensitive.
You know what, Sean?
Yeah.
You just made the kill list.
I dare you to snipe me off my stream right now. I dare you.
Don't do that.
Come on, man. Y'all better stop playing.
Yeah, because you can't get back when you've been booted.
That's crazy.
Yeah. Anyway, so back to what we were saying. Since we were derailed by Jay.
You fucking troll, you.
That's funny.
Yeah, the iodine.
That's why you was like with Sean though.
That's what I was talking about. The iodine.
Oh, I'm just saying.
But look, let me tell you some slick shit that these motherfuckers done did though. Now, iodide is what they call a necessary nutrient. It's one of them trace nutrients that you need in your body or whatever, and that's why they'd like to give it out or whatever when they talk about nuclear or whatever, because you're supposed to take it and it produces the hormone that fills your thyroid, because your thyroid is like the first thing that'll get attacked by the radiation. But yo,
what's it called?
What?
It's because I know the different type of radiations. It is different for how your body reacts to it.
What
is it called? It's called
yeah, I don't think
like there's one type of radiation that like your body can take in because of the rate it takes to affect your body is so long, your body can fix itself better. And there's another one.
Right.
Yeah, it's weird. I
think I know you're talking about. I just don't know that for it. But yeah, look, this is the slick shit that these motherfuckers did though, and this is going back to like the 70s. Now, iodide, like I was saying, that's one of them. It's a nutrient. It's a trace element, but it's necessary. Like iodide is in every cell in your body. Plants need it. Like everything fucking needs it. It's like one of them types of things. Well, anyway, it used to be in your table salt. They've removed it from all the table salt. It used to be back in the 70s. It used to be in all your flours and your bakery goods and all that shit. They've removed it from all the bakery goods. What did they replace it with? Fucking bromide. Bromide is one of them types of things. That shit is just as bad as like fucking fluoride. This shit fucks you up. It ain't no good for you. It's in all your breads and shit like that, your pastas. It fucks you up. It causes all kind of havoc in the system.
Shit. Okay, isn't that the stuff that was they started using in bread or some shit?
Yes,
and that's the whole thing based around the Salem witch trials. Because what would happen is their bread would mildew, and people would basically trip the fuck out and assume these people were witches, and that's when they started fucking burning them at the stake.
Shit. It's got a lot. It's got a lot. It's all that shit's tied together. But this is the Salem witch trials was way before the 70s though.
Oh, hell yeah. Yeah, hell yeah. But the name kind of popped in my head all of a sudden.
But it's crazy though that these people, they understand the importance of something like iodine and how essential it is to be in your body. Like even with women, if women don't have particularly like folic acid and iodine in their system when they get pregnant, odds are that baby's going to be like some level of retardation. That's just how it goes. But they took it out of everything and replaced that shit with bromide.
I believe
you know what I'm saying? It's fucking crazy.
RH negative. Mm-hmm. I think that's one of the issues with RH negative. Hang on, or keep going, but
that was pretty much it. I just thought that was kind of crazy how they took that stuff out. And replaced it with like bromide.
Fluoride. Well, fluoride is I think Ted, you guys don't know him as Ted, you can know him as what was that? He was saying talking about fluoride. Fluoride is good for you.
Hell,
no. It's not okay. It's not good for you. Your body can use it, and it's not good for you to take in fluoride. But the amounts of fluoride they put in the water and the amounts of fluoride that they were using is dangerous for you. Because when you go to the dentist and they use fluoride, it is good for you.
No, hell no. Listen, fluoride is just like fucking mercury. It's toxic in any amount.
Okay, you have mercury in your system. You know that, right?
Yeah.
Matter of fact, I could see, but that's the thing.
Wait, you mean mercury within the human body?
You're saying, yeah, there's always fish have it, everything you ingest has it. Your body has it in it.
Well, that's because it's introduced into you through external means. It's not something.
No, you're not made of mercury. I'm sorry, it came out wrong. But fluoride is the same thing. Fluoride is not harmful to your body.
No, that's not true.
Amount, but
that's not true.
The amount that it's given to you in our waters, that became a problem. That's why when you go to the dentist, they use fluoride.
No. Listen, fluoride has no benefit to the human body in any way, shape, or form. Basically.
Okay.
What?
No, go ahead. I
was going to say,
part that I thought I had something.
Basically, in a nutshell, fluoride is basically a toxic byproduct of like fertilizer industry. That's one of the main sources of its creation. But other than that, it wreaks
Hang on 1 second.
havoc.
Okay, new perspective. You keep asking that question. How about this? Answer to me one proof of fucking creationism that I'll answer both questions. And
I gotta go on mute for a minute.
We will not discuss the evolutionary, especially seeing how I have no clue what monkeys turned into. I have no clue. Sorry, no clue. I'm not a biologist. I don't know those things. The only things I study and I research. Fact based, not I've proven. Yeah, it's. I'm sorry. There's a lot of things that just don't make sense, and just because doesn't work for me. If it was just because, I'd still be a fucking glober. Ask Bill Hicks. He runs around saying just because. How come gravity works? Just because. It's true. I'm sorry. The reason I am so fixed on needing these facts and proofs is because I became a flat earther based on the globe not having those facts and proofs I needed. Now, if you're asking me just to go on just beliefs, that everything will change, and I don't want that to happen. Man, I need like a file folder to fucking organize this shit.
Language, sir. I mean, ma'am.
You know what? You were better off when you weren't talking.
Ma'am.
I got a new counterpart. I don't need you anymore, Jay. Jay. I got Dre. There you go.
What if?
Yeah, and at some point in time, I definitely want to go over this fucking AE map and this other shit, because it's just like that fucking dude that they had turned me on to for the whole figuring out the genomes and shit, and then he said starfish, because that whole AE map is wrong shit. Okay, AE map can be as wrong as you want it to be, but the second you go into some crazy ass shit, you're no longer credible. And I'm sorry, but fucking simulation theory is not even a fucking theory. It's fucking a hypothesis. It's a great fucking idea. Good job. But it's not something.
What's a hypothesis?
Fucking simulation theory.
What simulation theory? I kind of stepped away for a minute. I don't even know what you're talking about.
I'm just saying, you literally came in right as I started. I'm just talking. So the guys that are saying that the AE map is wrong, which no one here is ever saying the AE map is like the holy grail of maps, and that's what we should be going off of. It's a perfect. What is the flat Earth? This is flat Earth. That's exactly what the AE map is, as far as I'm concerned.
That's all it is.
Yeah, but these other people. Now, I want to let everyone know, I have actually been in contact with probably almost every single one of these guys, because they all are in my comments. I have been back chatted, messaged by them. Here's the thing. First of all, I'm not going to be told what to do. And I'm pretty sure everyone that's listening does not want to be told by anyone. This is how you have to think, right? So that's problem one. Problem two is whether your map works or not. Because trust me, you don't know if it's 100%, because I know that because the globe has not said we're done. We're no longer a globe. We're using your map. And until then, your map is just a thought and a theory just as much as any. But when you go to that leprechaun, that alien, or as I call it, simulation theory, it's no longer just sense anymore. You know how simulation theory and creationism even work together. I just had to get that rant out.
Could be some dude that's just mad skilled with electronics.
With the creator?
Yeah,
he worked at Radio Shack and shit.
Possibly.
Like I said, my idea of what's going on from when everything was already here till now is what I think I understand. But before that, I have no clue. about how everything started. Whether it's Big Bang, guy snapping his finger, I don't know, but I know what I have ideas and facts for.
What? Just real quick, tell me what you mean by what you mean when you say the simulation theory.
I honestly couldn't just tell you off the top of my head. I just started figuring this out when all this crap started happening.
Just
basically,
just in general. It don't have to be detailed. I just want to know what you're talking about.
You are in your own mind. So right now, as I talk, everyone here is in my simulation theory of life. I see. That's as far as I can get with it. So basically, this is the best way I can explain it. Everybody in the chat, in the panel, you all are part of my simulation. You guys aren't real. You're part of my simulation of life.
And basically, what's going on? Everybody's a part of my simulation.
Yeah.
So
because you're talking to me.
Yeah, but it was still. But it would still be the simulation from my point of view or from my perspective. But pretty much, I see what you're saying.
Hey, Ted.
I got to invest in another AC.
Yes, Trey did go get a snack. Yes, he is eating it right now.
Yo, hey, y'all better chill with that.
No, the cord is not detachable from the camera itself.
Reality, everyone. No, I don't know.
So we can't just change the cords out.
And that is why me and Dre are able to have these conversations. And just so you understand, I can go in every direction with any conversation we have. Just so you know.
I've witnessed it. It's good stuff, brother.
Yeah, it's the
I love building with Sean.
I play devil's advocate with everything because if you don't, there's no way in hell you'll ever figure out what you believe.
You're right.
It's just not possible.
Exactly.
You have to at least have that.
You have to have an opposing view on some level in order to further the build. Absolutely.
Yep.
I agree with that.
Yeah. Now, don't get me wrong. I do not believe in creationism. It doesn't make sense to me. But I do respect people that have that belief.
And I can honestly say that at one point in time, I never did until I got into, flat Earth. That's when creationism became a real thing for me.
But see, and that's the issue. Because I have found that because I'm a flat earther, the one aspect of being a flat earther that almost enrages everybody that I talk to, even more than fucking dinosaurs, is the fact that I believe in evolution.
Yeah, man, I'm gonna have to talk to you about that, man. I'm gonna have to get my notes. I'm gonna have to get my notes and get real detailed and scientific on you.
I do not want to ever fucking hear dinosaurs again because I do not call them dinosaurs. Trey, what are they? So you mute this fucking mic. They are ancient animals, okay? And if you're gonna tell me ancient animals did not exist, you're out your fucking mind.
I completely believe in ancient.
So you don't believe in creationism? How was their name?
Don't do that because we've already went down that road. We've already went down that road.
I was gonna say, oh, he only.
My bad shit. That one. My bad shit. Frontline motherfucker. My bad shit.
Titan. Honestly, I like I said. I'm in the middle. My idea of what happened is the stuff that happened in the middle as evolution. I have no clue. I have zero clue what started it. So like I was saying before, I actually just learned the other day or 2 days ago that if you believe in evolution and you try to in trying to figure out what started everything, you are a biogenesis. And so I am a biogenesis, yet I have not researched it, so I'm not really sure what that entails.
Yeah, all I'm saying is you gotta check out.
What up, Grubs? How you doing?
You gotta check out Brett Carr. And just for the record, I want to say it's a lot of stuff that I don't agree with the brother, but when it comes to the genetic information that he's talking about, I agree with him. Other than that, I kind of think the dude is a douchebag. You know what I mean?
Okay, but as long as he doesn't think in the Star Childs and like gremlins that were 1.5 inches tall, I'll watch it. But I will if anybody ever says, "Hey, I want you to look at this guy." Hang on, time out, because I want you the fuck out of my chat. You're a fucking troll, and you're probably the one that started all this fucking.
He does believe in the globe, though. I know that.
No, that Jason Watson guy, he's fucking Tim's butt buddy for the Hangouts, and I don't want him in here. And I have another assumption on somebody, but I'm not sure, and I don't want to fucking kick him for it. But anyway.
Motherfucker be cloning people and shit. I heard you got cloned yesterday.
Watson guy, he walks around like a flat earther, but he's just as part of that fucking troll brigade as anyone else.
I think I know who you're talking about.
I heard you got cloned yesterday. Who told me?
Yeah,
I forgot shit. I forgot. Oh yeah, see what I'm saying? That's why when I be joining the panels, I have my camera open so y'all can see it's really me, and then before I cut it off.
And I know Dave, the trolls cloned my name and cloned Titan.
Did you hear me?
But
I don't think that was the real.
Because
damn, Dre.
I know pretty much most of the people I talk to or even go on the panels with now have at least that one personal chat with me, and that's the best way to know it's me. Or you can just look at our content.
Yo, I don't think that was the real John Watson that did something to you.
What, the one that was in the chat just now?
Well, I don't think he would do something like you said. He sniped you or something.
No, John Watson. He's with Tim.
Really?
100%. Yes.
Travis told me. What did Travis? No, it was I see you.
Harold Jackson.
I'm telling you
I
right
see
now,
you said you should try to call your what's your
hang on, Titan. Hang on.
Go ahead.
Tell her. John Watson, dude, hangs out with Tim. They hang out with all the other fucking trolls, and they do live streams together. When all that shit went down with the whole Globe dumbasses doing actually making all that drama happen, they were going to that guy's chat, his live streams, and I have a screenshot of Tim in there saying, "Hey, grab your popcorn. Plan's just about done. It's working out perfect, basically."
Oh my god.
Yeah, that dude's a fucking asshole. I don't want him anywhere here.
I see you told me yesterday. He was like, man, maybe you should change your avatar.
Hang on. I have screenshots of what I say. Trust me, everyone that's listening to this, I will not say something like that,
right?
Unless I have the proof behind it. I have never once said something like that and not had the proof behind it.
We need to figure out a way.
You better respect your boy, Sean.
You know what I'm saying? If we could send them an EMP to the IP address, that'd be hot.
Yeah. No, yeah. Here's the thing. I will not ever. I don't do that. All that will do, if I put something out like that, like so and so is with them or this or that, if I say that and it comes out not true, it only would come back on me. Now, as far as I'm concerned, I don't think there's anybody can say I've ever done that and it came back to me like that, because the reason is I have proof and I have zero reason to bullshit on that. I would prefer if everybody.
Not doubt, man. Your boy Sean G is he's a true freelancer, man. He go out there and be reaching shit. I'm like, damn, man.
Put it this way, I'm not gonna lie about it.
I'm like, damn.
Caramel color Magnum PI.
I was cool with Tim right up until he was bitch made. Don't think just because you're not.
You might be the most thorough freelancer in our movement for real. Cause man, you be coming with some. Dude, man, don't your fingers get tired? Don't your thumbs get cramps in them from all that typing? Cause you be coming back with some info. You be coming back with some straight info.
Let me tell you something real quick. So check this out. All right, gotta turn this off. Hang on. Let me show you something. I pride myself when it comes down to all this shit going on when it comes to flat Earth and knowledge and shit. Look, I want to show you something. See this? This is notes, non-stop notes on everything. Almost I always talk about everything. It's upside down, but you get the point. So see, look, all I do is notes.
Yeah,
that's it.
You did your classwork. Good job.
This is just this is one. Look, see, this is one handful of just these notes that I have right now. I have many money. I look.
That's what I need to start doing. Making me some notes.
I just non-stop notes. Trust me, I can't. I'm not going to just go on one way if something works based on nothing. If I have a point of view on it, it's how my brain has understands it, and it can be changed. But I need more info, more input.
All I know is when I start digging, Sean gonna be my shovel. Cause
I'm already gonna need him for Science Academy for real. He's gonna have to be my class A for real. For real. I would like for you to be present in every stream I do. Cause
go ahead. My bad.
You know.
Hey Jay, I know what you did, man. And don't think I ain't gonna steal it.
I know what you did last summer.
Like I was thinking the same
thing. I see that notification right there.
I was thinking the same thing, bro.
Matter of fact, we're gonna play it on the stream so you can advertise it. See how that John Watson guy came back in? That's how it is.
John Watson and Harold Jackson.
Hello.
Hello. Be in a chat. No, see, hey, John Watson. The problem I have with you is that you literally sat there and either did it with him or you let it happen. Let Tim plan out all that drama on Flat Earth. So whether you're a baller or a flat earther, whether you're cool with anybody else, I witnessed and I have proof that you colluded with him, and that's why I would not like you in my chat. So you can leave if you like before I delete you, but as far as I'm concerned, bye. And then anybody else who doesn't like that, I'm sorry. That's my personal experience that with him, and that's how it is.
Yeah. He just got roasted, and he said your mama.
Roasted. He just got the boot.
And if there's anybody in here that I do know that I haven't got a wrench to yet, I apologize.
Me.
I will get you a wrench because I suck ass at watching the chat, and I know.
You suck ass. That is nasty, Sean. You should not.
Yeah, I thought that P. Mars was doing that, man, with them duck lips, man. Come on, man.
You know, I'm about to take everybody's mods away. It's gonna be the modless. No, I'm not. I like having all
African booty sucker.
Man, you
African booty.
Man, you better not. As long as you don't take away me, Andres and Love and Peace, cause man, we be chopping their heads off at the door.
Hey, John, I guess I am an idiot, but I'm an idiot that's not gonna have anything to do with you.
John
needs a bye bye. He needs a bye bye. Let's give him a kiss goodnight before we block him off. Somebody block him.
Not my problem. If you're in my chat, especially if you have a wrench, or if you're in my chat right now, then I haven't witnessed you being a dickhead or anything. I don't care if you're part of the globe. I don't care if you're flat earther. Either way, there are dickheads on both sides. I get that.
That's right.
Yeah.
Hey, I got a question for Jay. I keep forgetting to ask you this. Because my son's name is Jacob Alexander, and he goes by Jay. And like he tells everybody his name's Jay Alex. So like, it just, every time I see your name, it trips me out. Like, is that your real name? This is crazy. That's my son's first and middle name. Like,
that's not even your real name, Jay.
I may be her son. I don't know.
Jay from State Farm. If that's your real name.
Oh, you almost had it. Oh, you almost had it.
You know what I was thinking?
You gotta be quicker than that.
God.
Cold as
What
shit.
just happened?
I don't know anymore. God. Ooh, Lord. I can't breathe. Hold on.
That boy was like, it's Jake from State Farm.
It's Jay.
Oh, yeah. What are you wearing, Jake from State Farm?
Yeah, well, it's a guy.
Yeah, I can.
Yeah, what the fuck?
Ooh, Lord.
It's a far.
All right, just so you guys know, I'm gonna.
We just got to give John a kiss goodnight.
Hey.
Mwah.
Hold on, guys. Sean's trying to say something.
Hang on. Do not ban. No, don't ban him. We're friends. Okay, no, you're cool. You can time him out all you want. Just don't ban him.
So what?
I timed him
I'm sorry, yeah, you said don't ban who?
I don't know. I think I'm composed now.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
We have a love-hate thing going right now. He smokes weed, and I always thought he was like this fucking stickler who couldn't really speak I couldn't understand him ever, but and I thought he was like one of those tight ass anti-marijuana. But then he told me he smoked weed, and I was like, whoa, that's pretty cool.
You cool in my book.
Hey, and for your information, I love banning people. So if you can make as many people as you like, I'm just gonna ban you.
Unless that motherfucker sending us some weed UPS style, he ain't shit.
Hey, Jay, we cool, home.
Damn! Just like last night when y'all was on, right? I was listening for like 5 minutes. I was listening for like 5 minutes, and then that one dude said something off to you or whatever before Tiffany banned him or whatever. So I did a dick move. I abandoned him, gave him 5 seconds of breathing room, then I bended him right back.
Damn, bro, that's fucked
just
up.
Just to show him how it feels to be a dick to somebody.
He's like, oh, brother, we ain't mean that. Come on back in. And just as soon as he put his foot on the threshold, he slammed the door in his face like, motherfucker.
Man, Tiffany fell out laughing. I was like, yeah, I got him. And I did this to somebody else. She banned somebody. I think it was Bill Hicks Jr. or something. And I was like,
that's the whole reason I do the whole unbanning at the end of the thing. Because there are certain people that I don't want to be, always banned. And I know Bill Hicks is always going to get banned the second the stream starts, but I like him having that hope every stream.
I ain't going front. I do kind of feel sorry for Bill Hicks, even though I really don't. I kind of do, if that makes sense. Oh shit! How you show up somewhere just knowing you getting kicked the fuck out? Yeah, he just say as much as you can in 5 minutes and shit before you see that boot coming in 3D.
I know. I always have to unban him.
Well, that's the funny part because he doesn't even say much. He just is like, "Hi."
Yeah, it's usually 3 words or less.
I don't know why it seems like they get scared when I join the chat. They be like, "Oh shit, Titan here." I'm like, man, I'm actually a calm kid, but I try to be calm, but just don't.
You come up in the spot with you come up in the spot with that high yellow boom clock.
The shot.
Oh shit, run!
Jamaica shot.
They're like, oh shit. I be banning people. Sometimes I do tend to ban the wrong people because I guess from what they say, it seems like that they be taking shots at the host or whatever. Like banned.
Jamaican Titans. See.
They be like, no man, he's cool people. He's a regular here. I was like, oh my bad. I just didn't. Man. I was like, hey, you gotta understand, man. Y'all gotta understand with all this cloning and shit that's been going on and impersonating and shit that's been going on.
No. Yo, who microphone is achieving Mach 10 and shit?
For real.
This shit sound like you on the back of Superman and shit going over. The motherfuckers kicking it out.
Sometimes I be joining the chat and shit. I'm actually a calm kid. I'm actually a calm person. Just as when what I'm saying, somebody be coming off when someone's showed that they coming off being a dick towards the host of the show or the channel, whatever, or taking shots at somebody in the mod squad or whatever. You know what I'm saying? I go ahead and ban them. Like, fuck that shit. You didn't even know I was sitting watching, didn't you? Just cause you didn't see my name in the chat. Oops.
we got two Seans. One of these Seans ain't fake. One of these things does not belong. We gotta kick one. Which one do we pick, yo? Kick one.
Any minute, mighty moment.
Hey Sean, talk to me, bro. I'm about to kick you out of both. I'm telling you, bro. Come on, man. You got 3 seconds. One. Yo, I'm gonna ban you, bro. I'm telling you.
Do it, Jay.
I can't do it.
No
I can't do it. Shit, you wanna watch?
No marbles.
Damn, my finger slipped. Nah, I ain't gonna ban the brother from his own chat. But it's two of them. You need to say something, Sean, real quick on some real. Sean,
I'm probably doing that on purpose.
Yo, it's the Sean that sniped us on Sun and Moon last night. I'm gonna tell you right now.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
If you keep muting,
there he is.
real that fake Sean.
Yo, hold on. No, Sean, yo, for real, say something on some real shit.
He just did.
Right now, I'm gonna snipe my own chat, and all you motherfuckers gonna be listening from the outside.
Okay. Man, shut up before I snipe
you. You know what? Hold on. Let me set up my precautions.
Oh boy.
Hey guys, it's me, Sean.
Hey, it's okay. Jay, do what you gotta do, because it'll be the last time you ever snipe me, I promise.
Man, I ain't trying to snipe you. I'm trying to protect the show. I don't know if you.
No, he said Jay.
Oh,
he said Jay.
I'm like, I can't do that.
I'm gonna tell you right now, Jay will snipe me out of my own stream if it's just me and him.
That's foul. Damn, that's just ignorant.
I said I'm taking my precautions.
Yeah, that's the kind of shit. That's the kind of shit like he's riding you on the handlebars of his bicycle, and he's steady having the conversation. Yo, you steady having the conversation with him, and he done jumped the fuck off, and you riding on the handlebars by yourself.
He done jumped out with his helmet. He got his knee pads and his helmet on, just shit. How you like it.
Oh damn! What the fuck? Yeah, nah, fuck P-Mars 900 though. I'm not trying to. Yes, I seen somebody said that dude should become a flat earther.
Hey,
fuck P-Mars 900.
I got a question for people in the chat. If anybody has any clue what God on the fucking moon is, please explain it to me, because I'm confused. But at least I know I'm not crazy, and I know it did happen.
I think that was a close up of P-Mars 900 forehead.
Hey, hold on, Sean. You still? Hey, Sean, get your other avatar off the panel, bro. Am I able to do it?
No, do not touch that avatar. Leave it there. I'll kick this whole fucking panel off. You touch that avatar.
Excuse me, brother. Shit, you didn't have to get all. You didn't have to get all loud. Shit, I just wanted my commissary for my.
Hey, I'm gonna tell you right now. If I have to be on my.
Yo, why you kick me off, Sean?
I'm gonna be pissed.
That's wrong. Why you kick me off, man?
Sean, listen, Sean.
Oh, hey, trust me, I can be mean too.
No.
Oh, that's Jay. What the fuck?
We playing that game? Hey, legendary.
Yo, what? Man, y'all need to stop. This is a family show, damn it.
Hey, he started it. He making threats.
Be careful, legendary.
Y'all better stop.
Your name when you do that. I know it's you.
Oh, what, they muting you, Sean?
Yeah, legendary is.
See, man, I don't be doing that.
It says on my screen who muted me when you do it. You ain't slick, man.
Good job, legendary.
Jay, you need to change your picture back.
Why?
Because we can see all those little baby pubic hairs growing off the bottom of your chin. All right, keep playing.
Okay, what I mean is I have to step away. Hello? What happened?
I don't know.
What's happening is one Sean's in the chat. The other Sean's sitting in the back looking at who's in the chat right now.
Oh, good, Sean. Look, I'm about to put something back there. Hold on. I don't want to say it out loud.
Really, Jay? Jay bluffing.
For someone to use the N word a lot, he showed who like hanging with her. Cause we said, isn't it?
Which one's P-Mar?
I'm just saying in case it was him. You know,
they're doing some fuck shit. I'm going to a lawyer though Tuesday.
That is some fuck shit, Candy.
Yep.
It's not cool.
Don't have shit that's better to do but to disrupt people's conversation on science.
Mm-hmm.
That shit. That's some funny shit. That's the one thing I think. I see. That's what I don't get. How come none of you trolls to like meet up? It's like ridiculous. You guys are like I've never in my life wanted to be in a spot where I was not wanted.
Exactly.
I have a few reasons, but I'm gonna keep it
here.
But I'm gonna keep it PG in case kids are watching.
I can tell you right now, I don't give a fuck if any kids are watching. Don't watch because I cuss a lot. I'm a cusser.
I do too.
I not hold back.
No, I was being sarcastic.
Yes, I can. Yeah. Honestly, I had no idea who, like, if I could give him a wrench or not. So I was just waiting for someone that knew him.
Who's that, Sean?
What's the guy's name? Yebby or whatever the fuck it's called. You guys, look at my name. My name is Sean.
You talking about Jibby?
No. Oh. Is he here? Cause
no, I'm not in the chat.
I gotta open it up.
I'll go all the way up this damn chat. I'll start deleting people. That's the thing. They can't say it's all. It's like.
There we go.
Legendary.
There we go.
Okay. I'm gonna give you. That's your final warning. I'm telling you right now. I don't even do insignia talk. I have a sniper in the back chat ready to snipe your ass off this thing. It's okay, man. Hey, you can talk if you want. I understand you feeling bored and lonely. You can talk. If I were you, I'd take that microphone off so if someone attacks you, we know to call 911 for you. And that's your guys' fault in the chat. You didn't tell me to wrench him. He's been here for a long time.
Wait, who are you talking about?
People in the chat.
No, like what person?
Many people. Wait, time out. See,
I'm saying, who are you talking about? Got banned or something that needed a wrench? I don't know. It doesn't matter. Moving on.
So, my question is, okay, people in the chat, I need you to do me a favor and watch something. That John dude keeps coming back in here. He's either got a bunch of stock accounts with the same name, or someone's is unbanning him, and I'd like to know.
No, I'm watching it. Nobody's unbanning him.
And see, that's how I know. Now, if he's not even the real John Watson or whatever his name is, then hey, that's not my problem. I've never actually talked to that guy before, so I can't distinguish the two.
Neither have I, but he's been in the past, but I haven't really seen him around or anything. He used to be pretty, I don't know.
That's the one good thing I like about Flat Earth. I mean, trust me, if you're either a troll or you're not, and most people know it.
Yeah. And when you make a stock account and you try to come back as somebody else, it's so obvious who you are. Like, people talk a certain way. And then they don't even change their name 100%. They always they don't think of things that are clever. It's always like a pattern of things.
It's ridiculous. Okay, it's the same names. So here's the thing that I think is funny as shit. People that come on and they're like, acknowledge, I'm gonna give you a wrench because you are a flat earther, and no one said not to. But
no, Scavenger, that's polished. She's good.
They has zero subs, no videos, and their excuses. I'm new. If you're new, you should probably be the most respectful of someone's chat.
Yeah.
Yet they're not. It's very easy to figure out who's who.
True that.
Yeah. And people who are new don't come in there and say they're new because we already know they're new.
Basically, because we see the same chat every day. I mean, you know what I'm saying? So, and even the ones that just recently got connected with is like P900 and who else? Who else came from Karen's show?
Well, no,
FPV Angel. You know what I'm saying? We know them.
It's definitely rare for me not to know whether or not to wrench somebody.
Yeah, you basically know.
Because we see the same people in the chat every day. Bunny, Sweet Place, Bo Jackson, you know what I'm saying? Sassy, Brother Sanchez.
All you're doing is giving them names of clones. Yeah. Shut up. It's like, we're
oh, damn, you're right.
Sure. No, hey, Titan, I get your anger and I get your frustration, but you do know, like, you blow up
feeding
like
the trolls.
Wrong times. Like you can blow up here, I don't mind. You can blow up at Dreads, but you blew up at Flat Earth Courts, and it was like the worst thing in the world you could have done. Like that's like the last place you can blow up at a globe or any of the trolls.
Yeah, because they all have wrenches there.
Now. Yeah, I see that now. He allowed that to happen. So
and I'm not gonna lie,
because you should see the things they said to me over there. Oh my God, I haven't been back since.
Hey Titan, you're my brother, man. But I'm not gonna lie, that situation was probably the funniest situation I've ever had in a chat. It was like,
it's funny because I laughed at myself. I laughed at myself when I thought about it.
Like he decided to have a live stream where he allowed the trolls to come in just so he could talk shit, but it was like the wrong spot. Only thing I could say to him were, Titan, we don't have control here. We are nobodies.
Wow. Man, I'll be missing all the good shit.
They were supposed to be mine.
It was a special time. It was one of those moments when you realize that's why I don't talk shit here.
That's exactly why he gonna keep his ass about a essay when he find the channel, when he see the channel start to grow.
The funny thing is though, it's like I was saying. Personally, like I'm one of those dudes that like if you're driving on the road and you get cut off and you flip them off and they tell you to pull over, I'm pulling over.
What you gonna do, bro?
Pull the fuck over.
Okay, that really happened to me before. My kids love to tell this story, y'all, because we were coming from. Remember when I pulled over, tried to fight that lady at the gas station?
Damn.
We were like this woman had road rage so bad, and she told me to pull over at the exit. We were on the interstate, and I did, and that bitch pulled next to my car and then sped off. Like, why are you gonna pull all that and then come not even get out your car?
Candy was gangster with it. She's like, right.
Ooh, I almost had it. Ooh.
That bitch would not. Yeah, she just like coming scared away. Like, what was the point in that? Like, that's a whole lot of barking and no biting.
Wasted my fucking time for no reason.
Yeah. Got me all
I ain't gonna lie, man. I think this is a good comedy build we having going on here.
Yeah, for sure. It's good to laugh. We need the laughter.
Like the real shit, the biggest thing is like I don't even think they need to come in. Like I've had my words with all the trolls. What more could be said? I mean, guess what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna start another chat up. I don't care. First of all, I know you can't.
They used to hurt my feelings, but now I don't. I laugh at it.
So I can go off on Jay. That's all I have to say. know that anybody could snipe me right now, and I'm gonna blame Jay for it. How is that a win? How is that a win at all for the trolls?
Man, you better stop. They about to start some trouble, man.
You bugging?
They can't. That's the thing. They're not gonna do it. I dare you. First of all, let's
Who
get one
said
thing
that? You
straight.
from New York?
Here's the biggest kicker to it all.
Me?
Right now, I am.
Yeah.
No, I'm a Tennessee Titan.
I've been on for over 3 hours. I am over my normal time. You know what that means? At any given time, I could tell everyone in this chat, "Fuck you, I'm done talking, goodbye." And that's how I roll. Doesn't bother me. So go ahead, snipe away. Jay, don't touch my shit.
Man, I'm about to give you an e-hug. Why you being mean, bro?
I like being mean. I mean, I'm a real nice guy, so sometimes I like being mean.
Come on,
why you being mean, bro?
You gonna make us cry, man. Come on, man.
You want to know some real shit? I'm kind of frustrated because I'm sitting here. I'm in Jay Alex's channel right now. I can't upload my new music because I have all this going on, and if I do, I'll lag out. Now, I don't mind getting sniped, but I get real pissed off when I snipe myself.
Yeah, that's not a good look.
Yeah,
so
suicide is never the way to go.
Oh, dang.
Oops. Sorry, I just got punchlines just come to the dome naturally. Oops.
I'm not gonna lie, because I was being invited to another live stream that I was actually pretty eager to go to get some words out, but
go ahead,
not calling me back now. No.
Let us know.
This was on that other tip that the whole map crap.
Oh, okay. That's all right. We'll go support you.
Sure enough, I'll be in there just a minute.
No, fuck that. Why the hell? I would. That's the one. That's the other thing. I'm not sure if you people notice when I go do debates, I don't invite everyone there. I'm gonna upload my shit and I'm gonna get my views. I went over that dude's channel and it's like 90 something views.
You know what?
Like, man,
I'm glad
sick
you
of trying to
said
get
that.
people shit.
Man, listen, what was up with Ed's boy?
Yeah. No. See,
I didn't know if he was being serious, ignorant, or just funny. Yeah, I don't know. I took it that he was being funny.
I think he was dead serious.
No, he wasn't. There's no way in hell.
Please,
no. Why not? This is how I know.
I agree with Sean.
Because Ed has flipped out on me for just asking questions that he didn't disagree.
Well, he got a kick. He got a kick out of it. But
wait, Ed was acting like a baller. Ed be trolling like that. He does that a lot.
Ed was acting like a fucking troll last night, and I fucking almost didn't even post that live stream based on that fact.
He used to be, man. When he used to come on my streams, I used to stream every single day of the week, 8 hours every single day. Well, he used to be on mine, like after he'd be on Dreads or the day. Well, when he came on my stream, he always played devil advocate, and he used to fuck with me so hard, dude, because he always acted like a baller.
Have you seen? No. Have you seen my stream from last night?
I think he want him some candy.
Hey, I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna put my stream up from last night, so you can witness what he did. Because what he did was some bullshit.
It's already up. I seen it this morning. Did you take it down?
No. I can tell you right now. Ed will not be on my stream again.
Wait, what?
Yeah. Oh,
that's how bad it was.
I'm gonna show you right now. I'm gonna put the stream up from last night.
Yeah, that was ridiculous. I couldn't believe that Ed was actually associated with somebody who seemed to be so
fucking dumb,
stupid.
Yeah, did Ed do something or did his friend?
Nah,
it was his friend.
Like the dude had like the IQ of pork or something. Like, it was bad, and I was just like, wow. I don't know. I ain't gonna talk about the brother.
I named the stream.
It was sad.
I said stream.
What happened?
The IQ of my pinky toe, basically. As far as elevation goes.
That shit will never happen again. I promise. No. I don't even mind stupid people coming on my show because it was fun at first, right until I realized it was planned out.
He said they grew weed on the moon.
Shut up!
Hold up.
No. Don't tell her.
You can tell he was trolling like a motherfucker, man.
He was joking.
You could tell.
Let her hear this for herself.
Yeah, the boy was dead.
It's how wonderful.
But it was so late at night, man. I couldn't even entertain that. I couldn't even entertain that coonery, if you will.
I can tell you right now. That's why Ed did not get an invite to my shit today.
Yeah, but that ain't Ed's fault.
Oh, it is. You'll see.
Wow.
I'm about to go watch that shit.
Yeah, it was.
And then you got them type of motherfuckers that antagonize this shit. Yo, man, nigga, talk about how we up there rolling green Vegas right now, man.
Yo, he said, well, they didn't know about the Van Allen belts back then. So he was basically saying because they didn't know about it, it didn't affect them. I'm like,
come on.
He was special.
But look, this is one thing that people don't understand, right? Now, see that thing from NASA, right? It says that not only would people be affected, it will also affect the electronics on the thing. So the scientists are working through also to make it through the Van Allen radiation belts. That the basically the computer system and shit to survive. So
you have to hear me.
Even though they can try to make excuses of how they passed through the Van Allen radiation belt, how did the 1969 technology make it through the Van Allen radiation belt?
Dive in. Shush for 1 second.
Because I can't think of a reason why they.
You have to. It doesn't work that way on my computer, man. If you're talking, I can't do this.
Oh, I didn't know you was playing it. Sorry.
All this lag that's exactly what's happening.
Man, don't apologize to this punk ass.
How far was I into the damn stream?
Yeah. If you click on my avatar, I'm pretty sure if you see with the dog on it, if you push that one, you'll see my screen a little bit better. It'll screen share for you.
I don't even see that screen no more.
Okay.
Oh, wait. Let me see. I see the avatar.
Yeah, go ahead and hit that one. Right now, I see it's like a web page with a bunch of globes on it.
But this right here, my phone be loading fast. Slow on my YouTube.
His brain.
Okay.
It's all type of shit that different people believe that represents what they is. And I wish the screen was popped and you can see so you can better understand.
Yeah, I'm working on it.
Some people believe you can get to see what he's telling you.
Yeah, some people believe you get to walk to the end of the world too. And you fall at the ends of it.
Well, that's the problem with it. Because we believe there's an ice wall. As to how far that ice wall goes, we don't know. There's a lot of
It's over with for him. Like 17 good people died.
17. Now y'all see
Now, 17 good people died.
Good people.
What I don't get how would they have gotten
17 good people?
Like There's no way for them to have gotten there. Is the problem. How did the first people that you ever know that they said went to the moon? How did they get there? Well, they haven't. They've never been there. No, but how did they say they got there? well, see, that's the problem, because the way they said they got there was on an Apollo mission, which is the equivalent of a trash can, with no acknowledgement of how it would be when they did it, and that's why we don't think they did. It just doesn't make sense. Nothing about how they did it makes sense. See, that's the rumor. They never said they got there on nothing like a little trash can or nothing. They had They had something big as a small little apartment building. They was flying up there.
This boy is special.
They didn't just carry about 25 to 30 people. That's how 17 of them died up there.
Good man.
They carry like 25 to 30 people. So that's how 17 of them got up there at one time.
It was only enough for at that time. 1, 2, 3. I think 4. But only 3 went.
Okay, but my question is, so who told you this? So you think they got up there on something small? Don't you know, like them little? Don't you know them little bikes that you be riding, and then they got the little cart on the side?
Well, see, that's the thing. A motorcycle with a sidecar. What the? Come on, bro.
So you think they got up in there in like an almost a capsule or something? No. I don't think they went to the moon at all. They've been to the moon though, because okay, but that's why I'm
Google it. Like, but what about the good men?
How did you find out? Like, who told you this? You never been to the museum when you go down there with the little space stuff and all that? They have what's the name of that museum on Vermont down there? So just he did.
Ed.
Like the National Space Museum? It's something like that. I gotta get the name of it.
What that is down there in Crenshaw, Ed?
Basically, what we know to be true at the very least is that to get there would have taken way more fuel, time. They made the videos that they made of the Apollo launches. We definitely have we have proof that the videos they made were fake. Everything from a video they took, I think it was about a day and a half after they launched, saying they were halfway to the moon, even though to get halfway to the moon. ED, what was the name of that museum we used to go to down on Vermont all the time with the school?
They got one of the space shuttles down here. It's right where the it's right where USC football stadium is. Is where the Coliseum.
What is the name?
I'm trying to say all this to get it out of my head because I can't think of it right now. It's where the sports arena used to be. They tore down the sports arena. It's where the IMAX theater is at. The Garden. What's the fucking name of it? Space shuttle is at. It's right at y'all, right before you get to USC. I don't know what the name. That's fucked up.
And what's the name of the what's the name of the ship that they walk?
I can't remember.
It was on the news. They walked the big old spaceship down the Vermont.
It was down Manchester, Englewood, and all that.
Yeah, that's where I learned where the people went on the moon at. People been there on the moon. They took animals on the moon. They put animals in space to see what happened on the moon, but we've never been to the moon.
I saw that shit in the museum, blood.
Kind of like, so wait, so like, do you know how much they say the Earth like rotates and how fast you have to go to leave the atmosphere, all that stuff?
I don't know too much about that.
Can you see my my picture now?
Nah, they won't let me see that.
Try to go back and get out of YouTube. Maybe that's doing it.
I've been out of YouTube.
Okay.
Yeah, you're watching the Hangout right now, right? Your picture, or do you see just your avatar, your picture, or do you see there should be 3 or 4 pictures at the bottom of your phone?
Look at your screen. You're gonna see me. You're gonna see a dude with a mask on.
You talking about on Hangout?
On Hangout.
Yeah.
Look at the dude that says Shine that has a map. Press that picture, and that picture should blow up on your screen.
Oh, no, which one?
I'm glad I got a mute button.
My bad, y'all. He remedial.
Yeah, sounds about right.
What's up, Free Minder? How you doing, man? Diz Da Vinci. Let me know. Gaming with Harry Gamer. I have no idea who you are, but welcome. If I forgot to say something, just look at the chat.
Here's the catch. Hang on. Hey, I gotta abruptly to tend to something. At the moment,
that fucking troll is using my name. I need to ban him, so I am ending my stream immediately so I can go do that.
Okay. Y'all want to keep the call going when he drops the live? It's cool.
If
we can do
matter of
that.
fact, I'll try to just keep talking. I'll be right back.
All right.
I'm as long as I can.
I mean, go ahead. If you want to end your live stream, that's fine. I think the Hangout is.
If it stays open, it's fine because I want to come back. But I gotta go do this real quick.
Just better stay out of trouble.
Go
man.
put a whooping on that ass.
Yeah, go ahead and take care of politics, bro.
That kid, he's so violent.
Well, he sounds like he's about to run out the door and fight somebody.
Yeah, it's true that. That's what it sounds like too.
He gonna run out the house. I'm flat Earth frontline soldier, motherfucker.
You know what, though? People ask me, "What are you going to dress up for Halloween this year?" Because I did last year. Yeah, man, I'm a flat earther. I'm going to scare everybody away. You should have heard them people in Walmart today. Oh, my God, there were so many people up there, and that's why I did it, too. And then when that chick come up behind me and say, "Yo, yeah, the earth is flat," listen to her.
At least she knew.
No, because I told them. I be telling them. I always talk to them about flat earth when I'm in there. And I'm in there like every day.
Dre, you remember months ago when I was going up in Walmart to the electronic section and playing them flat earth videos?
Yeah.
I just push play and walk away. I cut the volume all the way up, and then I walk away. I'll walk away.
That's awesome. You should have videoed that.
He was doing it through live stream.
I did. It's on my Facebook.
But he was looking all suspect though. He was looking all like he was about to do something.
I had to stay in character. I had to follow Look, I had to follow these scripts.
Bruh, every time you went and fired up that live stream, you was looking around, you looked straight devious.
That's what, look, when I tried to steal something from Walmart, I got caught. I didn't get arrested. I got a ticket. I still had to go to court. Now I have a record for some stupid misdemeanor larceny. But, God, and you know what he said to me, though? You know what he said to me? You couldn't tell I was watching you. Wow, I looked so suspect. I couldn't do it.
Yeah.
You should have been stealing model gloves. You should have been stealing model gloves and trying to drown it in a pool of water to see if water sticks to the outside. just spin that motherfucker around about 2 miles an hour, see if the water will fly off.
So there, those of you who are doxing me, dox that. I don't lie about my past.
I can't believe they do that.
I know, it's ridiculous. But if you guys are, I don't know if you guys are on my Facebook. I know Sean is, but I said that on my Facebook status because I know one of them is still a friend of mine on Facebook and his girlfriend and
I was looking for you today. I couldn't find you.
So I
couldn't find you.
I don't see how there's not many Candy Franklins out there.
It is, and
you spelled it with an I. It's C-A-N-D-I. From Baton Rouge.
Said the Ray Allen radiation goes.
I think I still have Baton Rouge. I got glasses on my picture and it says Flat Earth down the side.
Well,
it's not my glasses. It's a stupid Snapchat picture.
How they get past that, blood?
Y'all young folks, these snap Instabook.
He says snap Instabook.
I didn't even hear that. I didn't even hear him say it.
Yo, he says snap Instabook. That's as bad as my mom calling a joint my face. I was like, what's my face?
That's the shit. That's the type of shit my mom does
specialist?
Right there. Yeah, she done
content specialist. That's you.
Content specialist. Yeah, that was my.
Oh yeah, I see. You got Flat Earth beside. Okay, I sent you a request.
Wow.
Yo, and if I don't know you, like if I have never spoken to you, don't send me a Facebook request and think I'm gonna accept it. Like I don't know you, I'm not gonna accept. That's why my shit's private. Well, it's not private right now, but it was.
Mine's private now since I want to hack pictures and shit. I turned my shit to friends only.
Dude, that's when I made it public. Them motherfuckers, when I first started my channel, them bitches went on my Facebook and they even emailed me, said, yo, I downloaded your whole Facebook, all your pictures, blah, blah, blah. Like, you like me that much? Thank you. Nobody's ever done such a thing for me. Damn.
Oh, they want some candy. Yeah, they want some candy.
Ridiculous. Like, you don't have something better to do with your life.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Just like these people dropping it's not even my address, but that's what I said on my Facebook. Like, next time you dox somebody, make sure you get the right address, buddy. Like, come on.
Show up at the wrong house.
Yeah.
Like that episode of Family Guy. Like, you know which way back to the bayou? The way
and
you
know
came.
What the fucked up thing is, the night before last, they know whose address it is. Somebody in my family, because they put it, I got so-and-so's address on GPS. Then the next night they want to go on a channel and dox me. Oh, you're such a big man, buddy. You must have a big cock between your legs. Fucking ridiculous. Sorry, y'all.
Nah, it's all good.
These people make me so mad.
Come on, Candy, tell us how you really feel.
I always will. I always will. You can count on that.
No, it's all good, yo. Speak your mind. That's
there must be, and P. Mars got the evidence all on his face.
P. Mars 900.
Yeah.
Golly. Wait a minute. No, see, earlier I thought y'all were trying to call Cool Pix 900 a troll. That's why I was like, wait a minute, who are you talking about?
No. I just started calling P Mars 900 just because it kind of had a nice little ring to it. You know what I mean? Plus he
nothing nice to that. No ring, nice ring, clean ding, none of it.
Nah, because Sean had showed us this picture of the moon with the little dot on it.
I saw that.
and I was saying that was a close up of P Mars' forehead. You can see it with the P Mars 900.
All right, now it's funny.
He reminded me of Chris Griffin with all this shit on his face when Chris Griffin was going through that acne situation. Then he was like, go on and slap some of that grease on your face, and then he's like, yo, where my white hairs at?
Yeah, that boy, oh my goodness. He had Mount St. Helens. I've seen Fiji because he has some colossal mountains on it. I was like,
I want to know how I made it
some
through.
Noxzema.
I want to know how I made it through my whole entire life, and I never knew that there was a thing that took blackheads off your face. I guess I never had acne, really. So I never, like, my kids had it bad, and so like when I took them to the doctor to get medicine, like back before when I didn't know all this stuff that I know now. This was like 2009, 2010.
I did
my
too.
Oldest son. I took him. He was on that. I don't know. I can't remember what it's called now, but the doctor. They have all three of them have had problems with like blackheads on their face, and there's this tool that you use to get them off, and I never knew about that my whole life until the doctor told me that I had to buy it for them. So when I bought it, kids are like, Mama, how do you do this? I'm like, yo, you're gonna have to Google this because I don't know, we gotta figure this out. I have never seen this thing before.
Maybe I can't remember if I used alcohol. Was it Noxzema? I can't remember what I used.
Well,
it was
the doctor said that blackheads do not ever go away.
I think it was alcohol.
You got to dig them out.
You have to take them out.
Yeah, you do.
Yeah, it was this video I was watching. I don't even know how I came across it.
Never had one.
Matter of fact, it might have been on Facebook where somebody was getting these blackheads removed out of their face, and then the doctor would peel. It would like pluck them out with this little metal tool, and then wipe them on a napkin. It looked like somebody took a pepper shaker and just dumped it out on this thing. I was like, yo, he's picking like thousands of these joints out of her face.
I'm about to give y'all another shit that I just got in the back chat.
That was nasty.
Look at this. We'll just took
now, who's this guy? I see this guy on the screen. It's a different avatar than what's on the Hangout right now. Jay, is that you?
That's Jay with the anonymous avatar you talking
about?
Like,
dude. Yeah, I see the anonymous avatar here, but when I look on the screen on my TV, it's like somebody doing a model pose for a magazine.
You guys.
Pretty boy Ricky pose.
Yeah, that's Jay.
Oh, okay.
So I just posted a screenshot in the back chat. Y'all, that person who left that comment, I'm not even gonna say the one at the bottom comment. That's who's doing this. That's who doxed me. That's who's doing that. That other person that's with him and him. Y'all know who the other person is.
The one at the very bottom.
Yep.
And is it that it, or is it anybody else?
I just told you who the other person is.
Thank you.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Who was the other one?
Those two.
Oh, both of them.
Yep.
Really?
Yep.
Wow.
They want some candy shop.
Nah, I don't know, man. But I'm talking to a lawyer because they have done some hardcore damage.
That's kind of I didn't think that one brother got down like that. That's kind of foul.
That's the ringleader, the ringleader. I said the ringleader. The ringleader.
Yeah, I was about to pull your coattail on that too. You know.
top notch honky right there. Oh, honky, wrong choice of word. Oh my God, are we still live? Please tell me no. Fuck. I didn't mean it like that. God, somebody's gonna rip that apart. That's not even how I meant it, though. It was just, oh, God. It's just so sad we have to be careful with what we say. Or there are people like that who will take it, rip it up, sound fucking bite it, and just take it into some,
Well, whatever. It is what it is.
Yeah, that's why I don't care anymore. Like, and these people,
but you know,
they used to get to me so bad, y'all. I tried to quit so many times. Like, if it wasn't for people, like, people encouraging me, you know, if I was to just not say anything when I was ready to quit, like so many times I would have deleted my channel. But there has been so many people who have had my back, and I love y'all for it. Like, for real, everybody that's been there for me and didn't believe the bullets